What you think about when you're born into a fire. Let 'em burn it out. Sell 'em to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised
They're probably enjoying Mother's Day.
to the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To play, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To play, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
What's up, guys? I expect we'll have a small viewers, not many viewers, but that's what it is. Here we go.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is
What's that?
Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Happy Mother's Day, guys. If you got a mother to enjoy Mother's Day with, I hope you had a chance to enjoy it. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I got Mariah a gift, and she hung out with her mom and grandma today. And then I had waffles, because my mom used to always make me waffles and pancakes all the time. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. I don't expect there to be a huge crowd tonight, because most people are probably celebrating, hanging out, whatever. But if you're here, I appreciate it. And if you want to hang out with us, you're more than welcome. We'll go over some things and hang out and talk some shit or whatever. And if you want to support the show, do that at coldbeer.fund, coldbeer.fund, where you can follow me on all the social media sites, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, Facebook, TikTok, Rumble, Discord. And you can make a monetary donation if you want to keep the show running. That's how we pay the bills around here. It's 100% funded through you guys. Like, we make very little ad revenue, and sometimes I get sponsorships, but most of it is through you guys, and I appreciate that. A lot of people we've been talking about on the show. I think Q Idiot mentioned it. Thomas Mullen mentioned it. The 2025 Project 2025 checklist. Like what do they want to accomplish in Project 2025? Lay that out in check boxes. And then what have they accomplished in Project 2025? So we'll probably go over some of that tonight. I didn't want to do it, to be honest with you. Like, it seems like a lot of work. I still might do it. But what I wanted to do was go through all of Project 2025 and be like, okay, this is a goal. Put a check box beside it, like a box for a check mark. And then do all of those in Project 25. And then go over here and say, what do I think they've accomplished? And then maybe have like a link to where, an announcement that they've accomplished this goal or implemented this strategy or whatever. But like all things that I really don't want to do, I kind of obsess over it. So today I was messing with ChatGPT, and I got ChatGPT to do it, and we'll see how well they did. We'll probably check on that in a little bit. But I got some other videos to show you guys if you're interested. I want to check this one out first. This looks like it's some type of like cell phone footage or cell phone off a security camera. It doesn't look, it's obviously not a press conference. But this is the new head of the FEMA. Trump's new head of FEMA. Basically telling the employees there's going to be changes. If you get in my way, I will run you over. Let's see if we can check this video out. New FEMA head tells staff, don't get in my way. I will run right over you. This is FEMA, okay? This is supposed to be the people that have the compassion when emergency hits and help people out. And this is FEMA, okay? We're not talking about the fucking drill sergeant, whipping recruits into soldiers. This is fucking FEMA. Don't get in my way. I will run right over you. Let's see this. This looks like it was candid from somewhere. He doesn't know he's being recorded, I bet.
Not in DHS or the U.S. government writ large, but within FEMA. I and I alone, in FEMA, not in DHS or the U.S. government writ large, but within FEMA. I and I alone speak for FEMA, okay? I am the president's representative at FEMA.
Why would this be an issue, right? Because in other bodies, including lawyers and other people have literally spoken the truth. And because it wasn't what Trump wanted them to say, then immediately they're fired. Okay? Yeah, it's pretty wild. Anything that doesn't align with them, even a lawyer, the lawyer that admitted that it was a mistake that they deported Abrego Garcia, fired. Any head of anything that doesn't exactly go, fired. It doesn't matter. So he's saying nobody speaks for Trump but me. Me, I, and I alone. You can't even do like an official statement for FEMA. Like press reaches out or somebody's talking or somebody's got a video camera somewhere. You can't do it.
And I am here to carry out President Trump's intent. That's why I'm here. Now, this is the tough part. Most of you know this by intuition, but nobody's ever told you this. When somebody comes to an organization and there's going to be change, it's recognized that everybody's somewhat nervous or somewhat concerned. Understandable.
So Hamilton, who was the old leader of FEMA, he testified before a House Appropriations Subcommittee where he contradicted statements by Kristi Noem about potentially eliminating FEMA. He said, I do not believe it is in the best interest of the American people to eliminate FEMA. And the next day he was fired. His name is Cameron Hamilton. He was called to the Homeland Security headquarters. Okay? And not Kristi Noem, but Deputy Homeland Security Secretary Troy Edgar and Corey Lewandowski. Corey Lewandowski is just like a Trump advisor and cocksucker, and he was like on his campaign. But the Deputy Homeland Security Secretary and Corey Lewandowski told him that he was fired. And he went back across, he returned to the headquarters, gathered his shit, and left. His biography was removed from FEMA's website, and his official X account was archived. Now, this happened the day after he said he does not believe it's in American people's best interest to eliminate FEMA, and it's not, okay? If we have 50 responses to 50 states, to 50 disasters, or 50 disasters in each state, it's going to be horrible. Some states are going to have a really good response, I'm sure, right? Some states are going to fight for their people, have a really good response, rebuild everything, take care of people, get them housed and close. Other states are just going to be shitty. Other states are just going to be shitty. Right now, what we have is the states contact an agency that knows what to do, right? They're in and out of it all the time, very, very well versed in how to get people, how to get this money, how to get stuff rolling there, temporary housing and cleanup and equipment and linemen and blah, blah, blah. So your state petitions this federal agency, and the state still works too. Don't get me wrong. Like my governor still does shit and the mayor still do shit and there's volunteers and there's churches, but they coordinate over the top of all this. And you can be mad at FEMA, and a lot of people are. A lot of people are mad at the time. A lot of people I live with are still mad at FEMA. Or live around, I guess, are still mad at FEMA. But I think it's more the stress of the situation and what's going on. The FEMA people are just like everybody else, right? They're just normal people. They would love to approve everything you say and give you tons of money and buy you a house and build you a new house and buy you a brand new car. What they would love that. But they're just workers that put shit into boxes, and then the computer system and management approves that or disapproves that. And we can talk about, hey, maybe we ought to change some things in FEMA, but I don't think it's going to be better to have 50 different states doing 50 different little programs. Some states never have a natural disaster, and when it hits there, it's going to be like bullshit. Other states have natural disasters all the fucking time. Florida. And they're probably going to be better versed in it. But just to give them money and let them run wild, I don't think that's good. With no oversight like that, I think FEMA is the way to do it. But whatever.
What's not known is that between 10 and 20% of personnel will embrace change. They'll welcome it. And they understand.
Only between 10 and 20% will embrace this change and welcome it. What is this guy's background? This guy's background has absolutely nothing to do with emergency response. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Like many of his picks, woefully unqualified. But I guess it doesn't matter. I mean, he was in the Marine Corps, right? He was an officer in the Marine Corps. That's just not what he does. His former job in the administration was he was the assistant secretary for countering weapons of mass destruction. He has no experience of any kind in managing natural disasters. He said in an early morning call, he said the agency would stick to its mission and he'd be the one interpreting any guidance from President Donald Trump. So I don't know. If he's planning on shutting it down, I guess it doesn't matter. That's why we put Linda McMahon in charge of the Department of Education, right?
Understand that change, handled right, is progress. And they understand that it's necessary, and they see that it needs to be made. That's somewhere between 10 and 20%.
Is change always progress? He says they realize that this change is progress. Is change always progress? Let's say you're getting ready for the Boston Marathon. It's the first time you're ever going to run a marathon, the Boston Marathon. And I show up with a chainsaw and remove your right leg. And then I say, hey, you've lost 40 pounds. That's a change. That could probably help you with the Boston Marathon. You think that's fucking progress? You think I helped your goal of running the Boston Marathon?
Something like 60%, they don't care. Right? They go along to get along. And I completely understand that. I've been in a situation before where I went along to get along. However, there's somewhere south of 20% that decide that they are going to get in the way of change. You can ask anybody that those 20% of the people are a problem. And they have to be sidelined. So don't get in my way if you're those 20% of the people. I know all the tricks, okay? I know them from lance corporals. I know them from staff sergeants, lieutenants, federal employees, my own employees, and indeed myself, okay? I played the games too. Obfuscation, delay, undermining. If you're one of those 20% of the people and you think those tactics and techniques are going to help you, they will not, because I will run right over you. I will achieve the president's intent. In FEMA.
There you go. You know, Marines are known for, when going into battle, they obfuscate and delay. I don't know what this is other than fucking fear tactics, right? Like, if you see something, it used to be if you see something, say something. If you see something, shut the fuck up. You're getting in my way. Richardson also reminded the staff that FEMA is part of the Department of Homeland Security. Don't forget that. In a preview of what might be coming in terms of changes in policy, Richardson also said there would be more cost sharing with the states, which means they're going to make the states pay for more of it. We're going to find out how to do things better. We're going to find out how to push things down to the states that should be done at a state level. Also going to find out how we can do more cost sharing with the states, he said. The issue, how much states, as opposed to the federal government, should pay for disaster recovery, has been a growing concern, especially at a time of an increasing number of natural disasters that often require Congress to repeatedly replenish the federal fund that pays for recovery. But states often argue that they're already paying for most disaster recoveries on their own and are only going to the federal government for those events truly outside their ability to respond. Richardson did not take questions from staff members, saying he wanted them to first read memos he was going to be sending out later Friday. He planned a town hall next week when he will take questions from the staff. In the memos that were obtained by the AP, Richardson told the agency it would be conducting a mission analysis of the organization to identify redundancies and inefficiencies, while also clarifying the organization's core mission and deterring mission creep. Mission creep is where, like, your scope's here, but you start taking on more and more roles that affect your mission but are not actually your core mission. He also listed tasks to be accomplished in the coming weeks, including providing internal assessments of the agency's preparedness for 2025, a list of all known gaps in preparedness and core capabilities, a list of lessons learned from past disasters, and an overview of disaster aid before FEMA's existence, and the role of states and the federal government coordinating disaster management. So what did states do before there was a FEMA? Can we just get back to that? He said he was honored to be in the role, leading an organization he described as an unwieldy beast. An unwieldy beast. Richardson arrives at FEMA at a time of immense turmoil as it prepares for hurricane season, an extremely busy time for this agency. Trump, a Republican, has suggested abolishing FEMA and providing money directly to states to manage. he has established a review council tasked with reforming and streamlining the nation's emergency management and disaster response. The 13-member council is chaired by Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Why the fuck would they be on a council about streamlining FEMA? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are they doing? Homeland Security has not said specifically why Hamilton was removed from his position, but his dismissal came one day after he appeared before a House subcommittee where he was asked about plans to eliminate FEMA and said he did not believe the agency should be eliminated. That's enough. That's enough to get fired. That's enough if saying, like, I don't think that we should get rid of this. That's enough to get fired in Trump world. Leaking signal chats multiple times, sometimes to editors at The Atlantic, sometimes to your wife and brother. Not, right? Having said that, Hamilton continued, I'm not in a position to make decisions that impact outcomes on whether or not a determination such as consequential as that should be made. This is a conversation that should be had between the President of the United States and his governing body. So he said, I don't think FEMA should be eliminated, but that's not my decision. That's between the President and you guys, and that's above my pay grade. Fired. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt was asked Friday about Hamilton's firing and suggested it was related to his congressional testimony, but didn't specify exactly what it was that he said that led to his dismissal. Meanwhile, Kash Patel's like, we don't have the budget. Well, it's illegal to not submit the budget. What are you doing? We don't have it. What's the timeline on it? I don't know. Can you give us more information? I'd love to give you more information if I had more information. Kash Patel is fucking testifying in the Congressional Subcommittee on Budget, has no idea what the fuck he's doing. This individual testified saying something that was contrary to what the president believes and the goals of this administration in regards to FEMA policy. Actually, Kash Patel did this. The first day he went into the budget hearing, he said, under no circumstances should his budget be cut. It would directly affect the mission that the FBI has to investigate and bring criminals to justice. Then the next day he found out that it was Trump's idea for the 5% budget cut, and he said he would agreed with it and it wouldn't affect him in the slightest. But Kash Patel's one of those guys that's like in there, right? So, of course, we want to make sure that people in every position are advancing the administration's goals. By the way, this is another goal of Project 2025, right? Put in people in key positions that are yes men, that don't ask questions, that don't disagree. Trump says jump, and they don't even ask how high. They just start jumping as high as they fucking can. That's what it is. It's wild, dude. Then we have this clip, doesn't really tie into anything, but you guys remember a while back I was covering a kick streamer who's also an OnlyFans model, Amaranth, and she was robbed. Like these three guys came into her house and they're like, give us your crypto, give us your crypto. And she's like, it's in the garage. And then she took them out there and then led them into a trap. And I was like, this seems fake. Well, they're still claiming that's real, okay? They're still claiming that was real. It looks so fake. It looks like Scooby-Doo or some shit, right? She just like runs away from them, and she's like, come on, guys. They run in, then somebody just starts shooting at them like hard R-tarded. Yeah, basically. Well, now there's a new clip with the same streamer. I think maybe she just does these clips to be viral. I don't know. Anyways, the new one is her and her boyfriends were in a 20-hour long stream, and they were arguing the whole time. And then he charged at her, and she called the police on him. So check this out. This is just coming out, brand new.
Fine. I'm not unokay with being observed.
So that's her husband. Amaranth calls the cops on her husband after he charged at her during a 20-hour live stream.
That's fine.
Regardless.
I'm not unokay with being observed.
Okay, great.
I'm unokay with you pointing the camera.
Well, then leave. I'm not going to follow you.
So you're literally just going to be super defiant, is that right?
Good. Talk about problems, hey? What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Leave. You
All right, so I think that was it. That was where he charged like up to the desk.
You're just gonna be super defiant, is that right?
talk about problems, hey? What the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
It looks like he takes the mouse and clicks something. Like, I don't think he charged at her, right? He charged to the desk, takes the mouse and is closing something, kicking something, doing something, right?
You can move. You can go away.
I wasn't in camera view. You moved the camera view to me.
Bro? What is wrong with you? You got. Yeah.
Then the next clip we get, you can hear someone say, "Ma'am," from outside. It's not him. And I guess he's hanging out with the cops. And it says Amaranth calls the cops. But it almost makes it seem like she didn't know the cops were there. Like one of her viewers called the cops, maybe? You hear police radio. There's the cop.
Yeah, we're live streaming. He's just having a tantrum.
We're live streaming. He's just having a tantrum.
Actively, why do you like smoking?
This says moments before.
You like smoking cigars actively. Why do you compare things that you can't compare?
Shit, and then
why are you insane?
Do you know we have 7 dogs? Are you honestly?
And none of them have shit in the house. Crazy, right?
They have shit all over the outside.
Yeah, that's what dogs do. Where do you want it to go?
They have. Okay, what I'm saying is that we don't need 7 of them.
They have 7 dogs. Could you imagine cleaning this shit up after 7 dogs? I understand his beef there.
Chose to get 7. I wanted 5.
And yet you're saying I hate them? It's so weird.
Oh my god!
You can't say you're doing. You chose to do it, but you also
I
take care of
literally
them.
told you
But you hate them.
that you
but
can't
you don't like
complain
them.
about them. You agreed you wouldn't
You're
complain about
bipolar.
them if we got
I hate
7.
them. I don't
You're
like them.
crazy.
I agreed to 7.
You suggested 2 more.
Sure, that's me being whatever.
Couples
Men's
expert
perception
just
of you
tipped
is far more
$1.
important
You should
to
do
you.
this
Why
every
do you
day.
think
Your view
I'm
numbers
here
have
so
tripled.
I just met
tipped $1.
I don't think that streaming the argument, maybe it gets you more money or more viewers or whatever. I don't think it's going to be beneficial for the argument.
You like smoking cigars actively. Why do you compare things that
This came hours after her husband pressed Amaranth about cheating with Aaron Pogson from Fresh and Fit in a parking lot.
Can we talk about you?
So apparently she cheated with Aaron Pogson from Fresh and Fit podcast in a parking lot. Happy Mother's Day to my USA friends. Thank you very much, Thomas Mullen. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and thank you for the donation, Thomas Mullen.
Kissing black men while we're married?
That is not even true. I was. Oh my god.
Oh, we don't want to talk about that.
We can talk about that, sure.
Okay, let's talk about it.
You had me go on Tinder dates that I didn't want to go on, and then you started calling me while we were at the karaoke
And then
bar a
you
lot.
asked me-
She had a former husband who like was abusive to her or whatever, and she videotaped some of it, and it was really crazy. Like he was forcing her to stream when she didn't want to stream because that's where all their income came from. That was all weird. But I think this is a different guy. But she does seem very prone to crazy herself, so I don't know.
You could have an open relationship.
That is no.
Oh, you didn't?
You were wanting an
didn't?
open
No, did
relationship.
you ask that? Okay, maybe I will sleep with Aaron. Did we say
No,
that?
that is
Never?
not.
You
No.
never asked that?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. We're gonna lie to your chat now. Okay.
We're literally not lying.
And you didn't give him the hand job in the
I
parking
did
lot?
not.
Oh.
What? You didn't give him a hand job in the parking lot?
Correct.
I'm unsure of how much of this is actually real, dude. I don't know. I know there are content creators who pretend to be like as real as I am with you guys. Like I tell you guys everything about my life, and you go along with me, and I espouse my real views. They pretend to be that, and they're 100% playing a character. And they do wild things. They say wild things. They pretend to be somebody they're not just for the views. And maybe that's the way to go. Maybe I should just get on here and be like super racist or super left and dye my beard blue or something. I don't know. They get the views.
I didn't drive up on you guys together, you giving him a hand job in the parking lot in Chinatown.
These men can't even find porn that would make us money of such sexual acts that you are claiming right now. Yet you're saying I would do it off stream for no money?
Yes.
You're retarded.
Oh my God.
So she's not saying she wouldn't do it. She's saying she would do it on stream for money.
Porn stars never have sex off fucking. No.
Can we talk about you kissing black men while we're married?
That is not even true. Oh my God.
Oh.
Did I roll up on you giving a hand job in the parking lot? Well, maybe.
You had me go on Tinder dates that I didn't want to go on, and then you started calling me while we were at the karaoke bar a lot.
If you could have an open relationship.
That is no.
Oh, you didn't?
You were wanting an open relationship.
No, did you ask that? Okay, maybe I will sleep with Aaron. Did we say that?
No, that is
never?
not.
You
No.
never asked that?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. If we're gonna lie to your chat now, okay.
Log Cow Live is so fucking fake. I do believe there's like parts that aren't fake. Like when what's his name shoved his wife onto that, like threw her down on that fucking table, but most of it's 99% fake. Yeah,
Literally not lying.
And you didn't give him a hand job.
but this is what people fucking want. Like, it's weird. Reality TV was a big thing, right? And it was so, like, some of it was real, but most of it was scripted to pretend to be real. And then people stopped watching reality TV, and they wanted to watch real people and real scenarios, like the nitty gritty. And that was cool. But then people started scripting that to make it realer by making it fake, right? Making it crazier and over the top. And now we're back to, it's just scripted TV again, like scripted reality shows, but everybody's got one.
I did not.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
I didn't drive up on you guys together, you giving him a hand job in the parking lot in Chinatown.
These men can't even find porn that would make us money of such sexual acts that you are claiming right now. Yet you're saying I would do it off stream for no money?
Yes.
You're retarded.
Oh my God. Because porn stars never have sex off fucking. No.
Pretty fucking wild, dude. Pretty wild. I don't know. I don't know what's real, what's not. That's what's going on. That's what's currently going on. So I don't know. Let's go to the next one. What else we got? That was Amaranth. That was FEMA. Judge Janine. Now the head in DC.
If the devil called me.
DC's federal prosecutor. These are some clips from Judge Janine. If the devil called me about opposition research.
If the devil called me and said he wanted to set up a meeting to give me opposition research on my opponent, I'd be on the first trolley to hell to get it.
You, Mr. Barr, are so deep in the swamp, you can't see beyond your fellow reptiles. As for those liberal Hollywood leftists in need of a lobotomy, like Rosie O'Donnell, they are straight up communists. There is a cleansing needed in our FBI and Department of Justice. It needs to be cleansed of individuals who should not just be fired.
She was kind of famous for these long opening rants, like these monologues that she did on her show. They're all horrible. She's fucking dumb. One of the MAGA people that believes everything Dear Leader says.
But who need to be taken out in handcuffs.
There are a great many things you can say about Fox host Judge Jeanine Pirro, including now that she is the acting U.S. Attorney of the District of Columbia. Donald Trump
She's a fucking wino for sure.
The latest Trump TV personality to a federal position after he was forced to pull the nomination of his first choice far-right activist Ed Martin, who was so...
Ed Martin couldn't even get confirmed in a supermajority.
Qualified, he could not make it through a Republican-held Senate.
A supermajority. He couldn't get through the Republican-held Senate. Ed Martin. So now it's Judge Janine. That's insane. That's fucking insane, right? Let's see. Mark Carney swinging back against people.
That Trump Somebody better inform these dumbass conservative reporters that Justin Trudeau, he no longer lives here. This is Prime Minister Mark Carney, and he will body you. He will embarrass you and send you packing. Check it out.
Prime Minister, thanks for taking my question, and welcome to Edmonton. And James from the Western Standard. You recently...
Sorry about the microphone.
Yeah, no problem. I'm a pretty tall guy. You have not been elected in a federal election yet, and you recently flew to Europe on government wide-body jet at the expense of at least $500,000. So the question I have for you today, and maybe I'll say this before I ask the question, these people around you all paid for that flight, and you've not been elected yet. So will you commit to refunding these taxpayers for that flight?
Well, it's an interesting question, way of framing it. Look, and I'm going to go back to, I'm going to allude to the question that was asked previously by Mr. Staples from the Journal, and the situation that we're in as a country, which is we are in an economic crisis that's brought on sorry, I'm going to answer the question. Brought on by the tariffs that have been put on Canada, actual and prospective. One of the challenges...
The economic crisis was brought on by former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and you were his advisor.
I think you...
So push him back here.
Did not create that problem.
I certainly... hey, nobody in Canada created that problem. Nobody in Canada created that problem. The U.S. government has decided to put tariffs on all of its closest allies. All of its closest allies. I wouldn't for a moment suggest that anyone in Canada is the cause of this. What our responsibility is to take action to react to a different world that we're in. And part of the way we do that is we build out new partnerships, new opportunities, including opportunities, and I'm going to give you a specific one, and then I don't know if you have one more follow-up, but I'll give you a specific example. It goes to my previous answer, something I also discussed with the Premier this morning, which is Canada has many advantages, and one of them is in critical metals and minerals. One of the issues is how are we going to develop the trade routes and the trade corridors rapidly in order to export those critical metals and minerals? And who are our clients for that? Who are our customers? Do we only have one customer to the south of us? The customer that's attacking us? That doesn't respect the trade agreements that they signed? Or should we develop new customers? New customers in Europe. What's required, if I may, what's required for those new customers is to build out trade corridors and infrastructure, including what I referenced in my previous answer and discussed with the Premier, is the potential to go north, go to new deep water ports, Churchill as an example, Gray's Point in Nunavut as another, and that creates a whole new set of opportunities.
He 100% won on a referendum of Donald Trump.
For Albertans as a whole, for people across the country, for these hardworking people around me and those like them in the trades. And that's what my job is.
I'll take that as a no then.
No, you'll take that as a very comprehensive answer to your question.
Damn. No. I'll take that as a no then. No. You'll take that as a very comprehensive answer to your question. Oh. Doing a good job. What is this? I like this. I like this pastor here. Pastor Paul, I think's his name.
Pastor, why do you keep telling queer people that God loves them? Because God does. Sure, but why do you keep saying that? Can't you give it a break? I don't think you understand how much hate the church has directed at LGBTQ plus people. What? The church is nice. Every month, I get dozens of comments and messages saying roughly the same thing. I'm queer, and I didn't know there were any churches that accepted me. Every week? Yeah, here's related comments and questions that I got in the month of March about this. Oh, wow. I thought everybody had my experience about loving and accepting.
Your videos help to heal my religious trauma. Thanks. People like you remind me that not all Christians are bad. I have PTSD for being abused by an organization that used Christianity as a tool of abuse, and your videos are so soothing to me because you embody the message of love thy neighbor. Thank you. You know, I used to be against gender affirming care operations, but that was extremely well put and explained. I never thought of it like that before. I'm not religious, but I once saw someone say that God made trans people for the same reason he made wheat and not bread, grapes and not wine, It was so we could also partake in the joy of creation. And I thought that was nice. People just reaching out to him, thanking him.
Church. No, unfortunately, there's a lot of queer folks who have been hurt by the church. And if we want to follow in Christ's call to compassion, this is something that we as a church need to work on. Well, I don't have a platform. What could I even do? Is your church RIC? What's RIC? It's an acronym for Reconciling in Christ, and it's a process for ELCA churches and institutions to show that they're accepting of LGBTQ plus folks and willing to do justice work. Oh yeah, isn't our synod considering that? Yeah, the La Crosse area synod is considering having a conversation about becoming RIC. Wait, considering having a conversation? Everyone I talked to thought we were voting on whether to become RIC. Yeah, people did not pay close attention to what the synod presented. Oh. But why would the synod consider having a conversation about being RIC? Isn't being RIC just for churches? If the synod was to become RIC, it would be recognized that the synod staff and council are affirming of LGBTQ plus people, which they are more or less. Our assistant to the bishop recently told me that the majority of candidates she's called to the synod are LGBTQ plus. Does this really make a difference, though? Only 6 out of our 73 congregations are RIC. That's true, but if this is something that we pass as a synod, I think more churches will take the next step and become RIC. Our actions have an impact on our neighbors, and this is no different. But what does this becoming RIC even do? It's a sign towards others that queer people are worthy of love and that we're willing to go through that RIC process, which can take 2 to 3 years. I'll be honest, I don't think the church has a future outside of being queer affirming. We can't talk about God's love and then practice hate. Becoming RIC shows the outside world that we're willing to at least take a step toward.
What was the famous church that showed up and protest funerals and shit like that? What was that? Soldiers' funerals and people that were homosexual funerals at Westboro. Damn. Westboro. God, I fucking hate Westboro.
Trump flew in a bunch of new refugees? Wait, really?
Oh, yeah. Trump, get this. Trump, across the board, is just like, oh, white people from South Africa, we're going to streamline you to citizenship. Everybody else, let's lower the number of asylum seekers, let's lower the number of the approvals for immigrants and immigration and stop border crossings altogether. None of those people are welcome. White people from Africa, we're going to streamline you to citizenship.
That's wonderful. Yeah, looks like you and Trump finally agree. I suppose we do. Who is granted refugee status? Some Africans? Which Africans? Some South Africans? Which South Africans? Okay, they were Afrikaners, the white minority group in South Africa that was responsible for apartheid. So what's the difference between those 54 Afrikaners and the Afghans who served alongside U.S. forces, whose resettlement...
Afghan translators are being kicked out of the fucking country. That fought with us overseas, kicked out of the country.
Was fully ready, but Trump stopped. Well, there could be any number of things. Really? No, Trump is just profoundly racist. Yeah, he doesn't even hide it anymore. What do you think the new Pope is going to say?
That's awesome, Clayton.
2020, Pope Leo XIV said, quote, "We need to hear more from leaders in the church to reject racism and seek justice," end quote. It is weird that I, as a Lutheran, align with the ethics of the Pope.
Like, I'm not saying there shouldn't be any people that that flee from South Africa and come here, but it's pretty wild that across the board, they seem to be discouraging, limiting, and denying asylum seekers from everywhere else in the world, except for South Africans. White South Africans.
My own country. There are many parts in the body of Christ. Some are in the head, some are in the hands, some are in the feet. I love it when we Christians work together to proclaim God's liberating message. Well, I probably won't agree with Pope Leo on many things. It's good to have another Christian leader who is willing to fight against white supremacy. Congrats to Pope Leo XIV. Welcome to the fight. Hey, did you hear? And just when you think Trump can't get any stupider, he does something like this. I'm pretty sure what happened here is Trump saw all the nice things people were saying about Pope Francis and thought, what if I was Pope? But rather than adopt any of the Christian values of Pope Francis,
what if I was Pope?
Trump is just posting an image of himself wearing the papal garments and thinks that this is going to trick people into liking him. I get that a portion of the population is too deep in to change anything, that they can't admit that Trump was wrong about something, because then they would have to admit that he might have been wrong about everything. But
they can't admit that he was wrong. There's a group of people that cannot admit that Trump was wrong about anything. Like if tomorrow Trump came out and said, okay, well, guns are a problem. We're confiscating all guns in the United States. Get ready. We're going door to door. And if you don't let us in, we're going to kick your door down. They'd be like, well, yeah, That doesn't make sense. Gun violence is kind of out of hand. Like, change all their beliefs. They can't admit anything he says ever been wrong.
Outside of the brown shirts, does anybody look at this and think, yes, that is the work of a wise leader, portraying yourself as the leader of a church that you have no affiliation with whatsoever? He's not Catholic at all. In fact, he and Pope Francis disagreed on most issues. When Pope Francis asked Trump to, be kind towards other people, Trump said no again and again and again. I mean, anybody who goes out of their way to cut humanitarian aid is clearly a tool of the devil. I don't think that that's controversial. As a Lutheran, I don't always see eye to eye with the Catholic Church, but it's so strange to do this as the whole Catholic Church is mourning Pope Francis's passing. This is just incredibly tone deaf. Also, just hire an artist to make an actual picture. This AI crap is tacky. But I mean, that's Trump. And just when you think.
And then as soon as the picture received any backlash, it was, I've never seen it. I had nothing to do with it. Someone else made, I think it was the internet made it. And then somebody posted it. I don't know. You posted it to your accounts. You did. Well, somebody posted it. Somebody made it. Somebody posted it. Dude's crowd. I like Pastor Paul. Pastor Paul Dries on TikTok if you're interested.
Just deported to El Salvador. Oh, well, I encourage all the Democrats to run on the fact that they fought to keep murderers and gang members in the country while Trump deported them. Let's see how that works out for you. I'm sorry, what murderers and gang members are you
That's a Laura Ingraham tweet.
Referring to? The ones that Trump just deported to El Salvador. And how do you know that they were gang members? What do you mean? Like, did you know any of these people personally? No, I don't tend to associate myself with gang members. Okay, well, you are aware that Trump is using the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to deport them without due process, right? Hell yeah, it's about time someone did that. Okay, well, are you aware that the last time the U.S. government invoked this act, we rounded up over 100,000 innocent Japanese people, including over 60,000 U.S. citizens, and placed them in internment camps just like the Nazis were doing at the time, and that nearly 2,000 of them died in the camps? Yeah, so what's your point? My point is that without due process,
I got a video to show you guys. I got to find it.
For all you know, these could be innocent American citizens whose lives are now in danger after being denied their constitutional right to a fair trial. Okay, I mean, we're being invaded.
Again, if they label you as an immigrant, you're just or an illegal immigrant, you're just done. That's it.
Man, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. Breaking a few eggs? Listen to yourself, man. These are human lives we're talking about. All right. I can see you're clearly triggered by this. We might have our political differences, but we're going to have to find a way to get along. You know what? Nah, we can't get along. Fuck you. That goes for you and anyone out there that knows me personally. Because you see, my fiance, the love of my life, is a naturalized U.S. citizen from a Latin American country. And Donald Trump, the person who you support as president, is currently arguing that he has the right to steal her away in the middle of the night and deport her without a trial to a completely separate country, where he will detain her indefinitely in a prison system rife with human rights abuses and countless deaths. At this point, if you choose to continue to support this man, I will take that as a direct threat against the people that I love, and I will treat you as the kind of person that you factually are, the kind of person that's okay with killing me and my family. Donald Trump is currently deporting unknown U.S. residents in direct defiance of court orders. That is, unambiguously and without exaggeration, the kind of evil shit that authoritarian dictators do. The train of plausible deniability is rapidly leaving the station, and it is time for you to decide to either get off now or stay on it until its final solution. Well, I encourage all the Democrats to run on the fact that they fought to keep murderers and gang while Trump deported them. Let's see how that works out for you.
That's the only thing that protects the wrongly accused. Again, they could just say that you're a fucking illegal immigrant, right? But I'm not. Who are you going to tell? Who are you going to tell? What are you going to say? Where are you going to go? What's going to happen? Nothing. You're going to be deported and wake up in a foreign prison. Let's get rid of habeas corpus. All right, let me show you this video. It blew my mind that people are taking this guy seriously. See if you notice what he says in this video. By the way, no relation. The guy's name is Ryan Bird. People are taking him seriously as if he is somebody that we should take seriously. But maybe it's because he's in a suit. Proud father, SHSU graduate, America first. People are taking this video seriously and actually engaging with it. But listen to the words he uses. See if you hear it.
Let me tell you what makes absolutely no sense. Illegal immigrants getting the same due process protection as American citizens. So let me read you what the Fifth Amendment says with regards to due process. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without...
That's enough right there. No person. No person.
Process of law. And I understand it says person, And that's been a lot of debate on the news and whatnot. And the fact that it has been interpreted by courts, the Supreme Court, as legal and illegal immigrants protection under due process of law because it says the word person. But at the same time, if you think about it, does that make sense? If you enter this country illegally, why would you get the same due process protection as an American citizen? If you are a citizen of another country, why would you get due process protection in this country? It doesn't really, it's kind of hard to even think about that. And so when I started thinking about...
Because it says persons, anybody under jurisdiction. Anybody under the jurisdiction. The only people it rules out are like foreign ambassadors and their children and people. They don't even have to follow our laws, right? Because they're not under our jurisdiction.
Thinking about the Fifth Amendment, I'm reading about it. This was written in 1791 by James Madison. Do you think James Madison foresaw a country as the United States? Do you think he foresaw the United States allowing this many illegal immigrants to cross the border, the southern border?
Well, yes. First of all, there was no such thing as illegal immigrants. You're adding illegal to it. Second of all, after the fucking Revolutionary War, people flooded here. All kinds of people came here. From everywhere. And they started doing naturalization plans. Why? Because these people were not citizens. They came here, and if they wanted to become citizens, they did naturalization. In fact, in 1740, they passed something called the Plantation Act, I think is what it was, to make it easier for a naturalization process and to spur people to settle in the area. The term illegal immigration didn't even rise to this level of popularity or start to rise to this level of popularity until like the 1920s. But yes, he envisioned tons of people coming here because it was happening. And they're like, okay, tons of people are coming here. We got to figure out a way to either let them be part of this, or maybe they don't want to be part of this. They want to go home eventually, but we got to figure out naturalization. That's something we could do, right? The 1921 and 1924 Immigration Acts, they established natural origins quotas, limiting immigration and creating a system where some immigration was inherently considered illegal. Before this period, there was no former legal distinction between legal and illegal immigration. Legal and illegal immigration, there was no distinction until the 1921 and 1924 Immigration Acts. They were just immigrants.
Order? Do you think James Madison foresaw a Joe Biden presidency where he allowed over 15 million illegal immigrants to enter the country? So you got to wonder, when he wrote...
If you want to open up this argument, you're going to lose everything you care about. Do you think that James Madison envisioned Twitter and anybody being able to talk to millions of people at one time and calling that free speech? You think that James Madison envisioned AR-15s and being able to mow down people in a school and call that a right to bear arms? You're opening the door for everything, you fucking retard.
This, do you think he intentionally wrote person?
Yes. Yeah. Several times throughout the Constitution, there is citizen mentioned and there is person mentioned. Citizen are citizens of the United States and the rights that they are granted. Person is intentionally used to mean anybody in the country, whether you're a citizen or not. And at the time, there were tons of non-citizens. There were tons of non-citizens. We were literally the frontier. People came here to try to make money or fucking find a new life or flee away from other things or just to fucking visit.
That general of a word to mean illegal and legal? I don't know.
Well, obviously he didn't mean legal and illegal because there was no such distinction. There were citizens. There were non-citizens.
I don't know.
Do you think when they went through it that they said, well, you know, we've never been a country before and now we are a country, but we don't even know how many people are here. So maybe we go through and interview every single person and give them a purity test and decide whether they're citizens or not. Fucking idiot.
If he foresaw all this craziness of illegal immigration, because you would think
there were borders back then. There were very few of them like protected and guarded and shit. Like from citizens traveling back and forth. There was probably more border enforcement between states than there were between countries at the time.
He would put citizen or specific. So I don't know. So
I don't know.
Debate what it says. I understand it says person. I understand interpreting that has been backed up by the Supreme Court
multiple times.
But I understand there's not specificities in there either. So, but you got to wonder, is that the right thing to do? Do you think this should be amended? Do you think this is really, you should get due process protection for illegal immigrants?
So again, they're ready to change the whole fucking Constitution. Remember, when it comes to the Second Amendment, or the First Amendment, or the Fourth Amendment, or the Fifth Amendment, they don't want to change any like hold fast. The forefathers were geniuses, and they knew that we'd have AR-15s with force reset triggers and drum magazines and blah, 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 whatever, right? Because they were geniuses. But I don't know about this persons thing. Let's just go ahead and change that.
I don't know. I think it's pretty crazy, actually. And so there's also been a lot of talk about that, right, in the news. And there's been news came out today, actually, of Stephen Miller, who is an advisor to Trump, who is rumored to be the national security advisor coming up, that they're talking about suspending the writ of habeas corpus, which would basically mean that they could deport people without court interference, which obviously the judges right now, there's alleged judicial coup.
Once the U.S. made its Constitution and the new law of the land, immigrants flocked to the country with very, very few restrictions. This didn't mean that they were welcomed in the New World. In the beginning, when immigrants came mostly from Northern and Western Europe, anti-Irish and anti-Catholic sentiment were rampant, right? So anytime that there's this influx of people, there's also going to be fucking people that hate them. But in the mid to late 19th century, people from Southern and Eastern Europe, as well as China, were coming over. The Americans resented the presence of Chinese, Italians, and more Catholics. Although some states like California passed local immigration laws during this time, the laws either weren't well enforced or were thrown out by the courts. In fact, there were no federal laws governing who could enter and who couldn't until the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. So yes, they knew people were coming. They knew they were from foreign countries. There wasn't even a fucking process to come in. You just got here however you got here. So sure, yes, he envisioned all that.
Against Trump, because every time he's doing something, we can't do it. Can't do it. You know, the judges are really, really involved stopping Trump. He's had that they could deport people without court interference, which obviously the judges right now, there's a alleged judicial coup against Trump.
Did you catch it? Did you catch it? Why are we giving this guy any credit whatsoever? Not only did it take him 4 times to say judicial, he said there's a judicial coup against Trump. A judicial coup?
Court interference, which obviously the judges right now, there's alleged judicial coup against Trump because every time he's doing something, we can't do it. Can't do it. You know, the judges are.
I don't even know why this video was recommended. This guy's a fucking idiot, dude.
Really involved stopping Trump. He's had more judges stop his stuff he's trying to get done more than any other president. So I don't know. I'm just trying to.
And as far as I know, he's like, I don't think he's anything. I guess just because he was in a suit, maybe. He's got a ton of views and a ton of comments on it, but he's only got 1,900 followers. He's a fucking idiot. I don't know why this was suggested to me at all. Let's watch his pinned video. A judicial coup. Yeah, I can't play that audio. I thought it'd be something interesting.
Deporting? Is this a new thing I didn't know? Illegal immigrants are now self-deporting? Is this a new thing I didn't know about? So according to the New York Times, on Monday, the Trump administration announced that they were going to offer illegal immigrants who joined the CFB app. They would be given a free plane ride back to their country of origin and also $1,000.
That's right, Bradley. That's right. From the moment of conception. Fuck it. From the moment of erection. You're God's holy being. And everybody must do their part in protecting you. But if you're not here with the right paperwork, you're not even fucking human.
If they can prove on GPS and a couple different ways that
unless you're from South Africa and white
location is accurate, they would send them $1,000 if they actually made it back to their country. So I didn't know self-deportation was actually a thing, but apparently it is. I don't think it's going to work too well, if to be honest with you. I mean, I get why they're doing it. They're trying to get people to take the initiative and go back. They get $1,000 reward. Because according to the article, the United States spends over $17,000 on average to detain a illegal immigrant in the United States.
Let's finish this stupid video.
Makes sense of this protection for illegal immigrants, due process protection, because it doesn't make sense that if I went to Mexico,
it's a coup, guys.
If I illegally entered another country, I'm just making it up. Illegally entered Mexico. Should Mexico give me due process protection because I'm an American citizen? I mean, how does that make sense?
Well, they should make sure that you're actually from the U.S. and you actually entered illegally, or you're actually a gang member, or whatever they're accusing you of. Absolutely. The only exception to this is if they're within so close to the border, or they've been here like a limited amount of time, and they're so close to the border, you can just get rid of them immediately.
So are we writing laws for other citizens? I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out, but we'll see what happens. A lot going on, a lot of talk about this. Even though Joe Biden, this is beyond belief.
Sorry, I want to see how many. 13,000 views. This was suggested to me today. He's only got almost 2,000 followers. 13,000 views.
He's not even deporting as many as the other presidents. Now, he's not letting anybody in, I can tell you that. The southern border crossings are down over 99%.
Oh, yeah. What is SHSU?
So he shut it down at the border. But I think there's a discussion to be had about due process protection.
Sam Houston State University. Sam Houston. Like Fort Sam Houston, where the medics train, I guess. There you go. That was suggested to me, but the motherfucker, I said, don't listen to anyone who says judicial coup because they don't know how to pronounce the word coup. Here's a good question. How would you defend your citizenship if you didn't have due process? Due process doesn't mean a trial with a judge. As simple as you could, it is as simple as, can you prove your citizenship? No. Okay, due process was had. So you are saying a non-official can say you are not a citizen, you'll be okay with it? So you're saying documents can't be forged to prove you're a citizen? Right. What if they're just walking around with fake IDs? Right to a fair trial, notice of charge is the opportunity to present evidence and the right to legal representation. Your birth certificate or naturalization papers proves you're a citizen. What if they're fake? You're just showing them to some random person. Nobody's checking anything. Again, this is why we have due process. Do you always carry your birth certificate with you? If not, then how would you prove if you don't have it on you? Doesn't matter. Even when you show up with the birth certificates to court, if there's an ICE hold against you, you're just fucked. You're just chilling. America first. Let's see what he reposts. Oh, only 2 videos. Vivek. His likes are fucking... His likes are private.
I feel really good about tonight, and that's great. And hopefully wake up tomorrow morning, maybe even. And
He's only ever reposted 2 fucking videos.
we know that Donald Trump's the next
bot account.
That's the start line, right? And so if you look at just every way this machine, we just trace the last year, right? What has this machine tried to do? Civil suits first, then criminal suits, then extrajudicial attempts to remove him from the ballot, then more extrajudicial attempts on his life. Not one, but then 2. So they've tried every trick, and that hasn't worked. And he is still going to win. It looks like, I don't want to count our chickens here, but resoundingly. What's the next remaining step is to impede the administration. And there's multiple ways to impede it. You can impede it through the front door. You can impede it through the back door. And so I think that in some ways, this idea, and I think the little bit of the feigned retreat, the psyop,
why the fuck is his forehead so big, dude?
Consciously, in all of this, even if we're not aware of it, is that somehow November 5th is like, yes, then we've done it. I feel really good about tonight, and that's great. And hopefully wake up tomorrow morning, maybe even, and we know that Donald Trump's the next president. That's the start line, right? And so if you look at just every way this machine...
I don't know. I can't stand these fucking people. Anyways, I don't know why TikTok put that in my suggested videos. I don't know what I did to deserve that. Let's check in on Selling with Phoenix. It should be day 11, I guess. Yeah, day 11.
This is day 11, sailing from Oregon to...
If you don't know, this guy quit his sort of corporate job, right? He was like a white-collar job with a discount tire and sold everything he owns, cashed out his 401k, bought a sailboat, fixed it up, learned how to sail in a river, and now he's sailing across the Pacific Ocean with his cat.
Hawaii with my cat. This is a thank you video to Kraken Sales. I'm not sponsored. They didn't ask me to do this.
He always beats it through the back door.
There's been no... I'm just saying thank you is what it is. And before I had any big following or anything like that, these guys at Kraken Sales that gave me this mainsail and a storm jib, he kind of heard my story, and he knew about my neck and the owner, and he also had his own issues with his neck, and he just reached out and he told me, he's like, man, you need to have a new main before you do the crossing. And I told him I couldn't afford it, and they're a small company.
They're going to sponsor him with one. That'd be awesome.
And he tried to give them to me for free. They couldn't. But the deal, I don't know if you guys know how much sales cost, but they're absolutely absurd. And the deal, he gave me such a good deal. Like, I literally couldn't refuse it because it was such a good deal. And they do have really good prices in comparison to the other companies, like much better. But I just got to say thank you to them. This video is for them. Thank you, guys. It is the only reason I still have a mainsail, because when I lost that rudder, this sail was absolutely flapping in the wind like the most violent flapping I've ever seen a sail do. It was nuts. And if I had my other mainsail on there, I would not be sailing to Hawaii anymore. That would have ruined the trip right there. But they reached out. They somehow managed to build the sail and ship it to me from Australia in a small time frame. It was like 30 days before I left. And this video goes to them. So thank you. Again, I'm not sponsored or anything. There's no brand deals. I didn't get the sales for free, but they gave me, they knew I needed it, and I needed it. I needed that mainsail. That mainsail saved me. And so, yeah, they deserve a big thank you. So thank you, and thank you guys for watching. Show them some love or whatever. Yep. This is day 11, sailing from Oregon to Hawaii with my...
That's awesome.
This is a thank you video to Kraken.
It says, turns out Kraken Sales has a solid sense of humor as well, because the co-owner, Christy, has been my contact this whole time, and I've been starting every message with dude and man for like 2 months. She's never said anything and just let it ride because she thought it was funny. So she was actually talking to a woman the whole time. That's why he kept correcting and saying she in the video. He's a pretty cool dude. Hope he gets it under control. Hope he makes it to Hawaii, and I guess he's going to go around the whole world selling for the rest of his life, I guess. Did we already cover this one? Yes, that's the necessary conversation. You guys want to learn something today? Check this out. You're going to learn today.
Seen a cicada infected with an STD? Do you want to? This is a 17-year periodical cicada, and this is a Massospora cicadina fungal infection. And now, while y'all may have heard of...
So it's hard to tell in this video, but basically, see its ass? Usually it would be a longer ass, like a normal bug. You know, its wings are pretty long, and its ass kind of sticks out from behind its wings, and it's like tapered. But instead, this one's like bubbling, almost like dead skin over top something. Its ass is getting ready to fall off.
Massospora cicadina fungal infection. And now, while y'all may have heard of cordyceps, the bug-infecting zombie fungus.
So this is the fungus that makes the ants go crazy, right? It gets in their head and basically like drives them like machines.
Massospora cicadina makes cordyceps look like a walk in the park, because this fungus is not going to turn them into lifeless zombies. Oh no, these guys turn into sex zombies. Let's talk about it. So this fungus only infects 2 species of cicada, the 13-year and the 17-year periodicals. And the cicadas initially get infected when they are emerging from the dirt for the first time. The cicadas...
So when they're crawling up through the dirt, they get infected. Now, see, this cicada is missing its ass. That's fungus there. The back of it, the rear of it, basically deteriorates and falls away, and all that's holding its insides in is a plug of fungus. And that's how it spreads that fungus, the spores. Okay, that's all it's holding its insides in, is it grows this big plug to just stop up everything, and then the skin and tissue or whatever, exoskeleton falls off.
is infected through the dirt, then develop a type 1 infection.
So when it crawls up through the dirt, it gets the spores on it. This happens. This is type 1 infection. Type 1 infection. In fact, the reason this fungus is so interesting is because she just said it only affects the 13 and the 17-year cicadas. So it might be the longest living fungus that we know of. It has to live at least 13 years just in the dirt before it gets a chance to repropagate.
And the type 1 infection looks like this. The fungus forms in their abdomen, their butt falls off, they have this delightful fungal plug, and then as these brain-dead infected cicadas start flying around looking for a mate, the fungus falls from them like salt from a shaker upon their fellows.
So it's dropping this fungus and spores everywhere. Dropping, and it lands on all the other cicadas, infecting them, but it infects them so type 1, they're infected when they come through the dirt and get the spores on them. They're just infected. If this bug drops the spores on you, that's a type 2 infection.
Cicadas. And it gets worse. So the fungus will hijack the cicada and tell them, this is what you're interested in, and this is how you're going to behave. In the case...
It basically makes them fuck machines. Not only does it turn them bisexual, to where they'll have sex with male and females, it has them act as if they're females to attract males because there's less females.
In case of male cicadas, it makes them bisexual and act like girls. It will respond to mating calls from both male and female cicadas, and it will flutter its wings around in a cutesy little way like female cicadas do, because the more chances it gets to mate and spread the fungus,
so it'll fuck any other cicada. It's a bisexual fuck machine.
The better. But yeah, you can see right here, his butt is about to fall off.
That's the dead, I guess, exoskeleton skin, whatever you want to call it. It's about to fall off.
And under there will be a fungal plug. But even now, if he were to mate, he could still spread the fungus. And cicadas that the fungus is spread to develop the type 2 infection, which is what this guy has.
Type 2 infection, no butt plug.
Now, type 2 infections are not going to cause their butts to shrivel up, fall off, and then reveal a fungal plug. Now, it does make them sterile and fill their body up with spores, but the purpose...
So it makes them sterile, completely sterile, and they fill up, this is a type 2 infection, they fill up so much with spores that they just die. And of course they die, fall back to the grounds, and that's how they spread again in 13 or 17 years.
The purpose of this infection is so that they can die, decompose, and then release their spores back into the earth to infect the next brood of cicadas. And fun fact, because these cicadas emerge in 17-year broods, Massospora cicadina is thought to have the longest lifespan of any known fungus. Have you ever seen a cicada?
That's insane, right? 17 years? Fungus waiting for the cicadas to come out so it can infect their body, form a butt plug, make their ass fall off, and then fuck everybody? That's insane. The world's so interesting. The mechanisms of survival of something as simple as fungus. That's insane. Anyways, back to it, I guess. Look how easy. Look how easy it was for someone who's not Abrego Garcia. Check this video out.
Tomorrow. This client was illegally deported by ICE.
Damn it, stop.
ICE is bringing my client back tomorrow. This client was illegally deported by ICE when he had a Ninth Circuit stay of removal. I sued Pam Bondi, asked for injunctive relief for the court to hold her in contempt because...
So what did he have?
It was illegally deported by ICE when he had a Ninth Circuit stay of removal. I sued Pam...
Withholding from removal. He was deported. He had withholding from removal. This guy hasn't been all over the news, but they sued Pam Bondi.
When he had a Ninth Circuit stay of removal. I sued Pam Bondi, asked for injunctive relief for the court to hold her in contempt because he had been illegally deported against a court order. The government has since been coordinating his return. Here's the government attorney for Pam.
Included on this email from OPLA Phoenix. Will be able to assist you in coordinating your client's parole in the United States. So why this person? This person is being brought right back. He had a withholding from removal order, just like Abrego Garcia. She files and sues Pam Bondi and the administration. They're like, okay, yeah, we'll bring him back. We didn't know he had that withholding from removal.
Here's the government attorney for Pam Bondi responding that they're going to get him coordinated to come back. Here's the local trial attorney for ICE saying that she's also going to work to get the client back. And here's the moment we were waiting for. He's going to get paroled back into the United States and have a lawful...
And he's getting paroled back in the United States. This packet for an expedited significant public benefit parole, SPBP, on Blank's behalf, has been approved by Homeland Security Investigations.
Entry right back into America. When all is said and done, he'll be out of the country for about a month. This is absolutely not...
This is insane, right? Why are they acting like to bring Abrego Garcia back? It's just fucking impossible. He had the exact same order. Withholding from removal.
Going to get paroled back into the United States and have a lawful entry right back into America. When all is said and...
It even tells him, hold on, at the bottom of this email, please have blank arrive at the San Luis, Arizona port of entry on Friday, March 28, 2025 at 10 a.m. The San Luis, Arizona port of entry has been notified and is expecting blank on that day and time. Once blank arrives, what?
Going to get paroled back into the United States and have a lawful entry right back into America. When all is said and done, he'll be out of the country for about a month. This is absolutely not ideal, but at the same time, when we sue, we win. Stay strong, my friends.
What? How is it so different? Because they sent Abrego Garcia to CCOT and wait till the stories he comes back with. The press has already fell in with this story. Trump doesn't want the bad press. He can't, we've already seen, he cannot admit he's ever made a mistake. And with the bad press down his throat after Abrego Garcia comes back, he'll have to admit it. Or divert it. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. They did that. I didn't have anything to do with it. And literally, someone tried to argue with me that, well, all we did was deport him, and then El Salvador decided they wanted to arrest him. Really? Is that what we did? We deported him, and then suddenly when he got there at an airstrip at a fucking prison, they were like, oh, maybe we should arrest this guy. No. When asked why they were holding these men at CCOT, they literally said, because Trump is paying us to. It's not a sovereign nation making a decision to jail someone. It is, if you pay us enough money, we'll do whatever you want.
Mr. Global still hasn't explained why his prediction of the oil market crash on 5/5 was so epically wrong. This is not going to be the flex you think it is. And by the way, every expert missed that prediction. But what traders are betting on because this oil production increase that we're talking about starts on June the 1st. Oil traders are betting that oil production in the United States is going to fall much faster than we believe it will. They are also betting that we are about to do something with Iran. So I would ask, is it a good thing that oil prices aren't falling faster because we're losing production and market share to foreign competitors, nation states, faster than we thought? And we don't even know for sure that's going to happen. That's just what traders are betting on. Let me ask you another question. Is it a good thing that companies that operate businesses in the United States are going to lose their business or lose their employees because the president of the United States requested foreign nation states to compete with them harder? Why is that a good thing? And while my prediction may take longer to play out than I originally thought, it's going to play out because guess what? Next month, they're going to do the same increase. And they're going to do it again in July, and they're going to do it again in August, and they're going to do it again in September until they increase production by 2.2 million barrels a day. You think this is over? We're not even 25.
2.2 million, 400,000 barrels a month until they get to 2.2 million.
We're 25% into this deal. There's something else you need to understand, and that is that traders are right about 35% of the time. I have been making predictions on this app for 4 years. I've been wrong twice out of hundreds of predictions. So I'm not concerned about missing on a prediction. If I was, I wouldn't make them to begin with. That's why very few people make them. Oh, and just so you know, the other prediction I was wrong on was the price of gas, and I missed it by 1 cent. Yeah. Regardless, don't get it twisted. Unless we do something with Iran to stop their oil production, when OPEC gets that additional 2.2 million barrels a day of oil onto the market,
yes, the rig number is going down.
We're screwed.
It's weird that they're upping production by almost the exact amount that Iran produces. Plus, we moved carrier groups there. Plus, we moved battle groups there. Plus, we put all our stealth bombers at Diego Garcia in reach of Iran. Don't tell me the anti-war president's about to put us in a fucking war.
The U.S. oil and gas industry is screwed. And this isn't a hard prediction to make because I've seen it before. The last time Donald Trump was president.
If gas goes down, it's not because of U.S. production, drill, baby, drill, and all that shit. We're closing rigs. If gas goes down, it's because we're getting cheap foreign oil because Donald Trump convinced them to start putting more out.
In 2018, he did this exact same thing. And when he did it, bankruptcies in oil and gas more than doubled, and we lost over a third of our capacity to drill. The oil and gas industry in the United States...
That's huge, right? We lost 35%. 35% of our capacity to drill under a Trump deal. The drill, baby, drill guy. That he just says that and people cheer, but they have no idea what the fuck he means. 35% of our capacity to drill for oil. Then under Joe Biden, we were producing more oil than we ever have before. We're the largest producer of oil in the world. But for some reason, when you ask the people who support Trump, it's oil and gas prices, drill, baby, drill. He's better at marketing what he did. I think Joe Biden talked about that when he went on The View. He's much better at marketing the things he does rather than, or didn't do, or stealing other people's things than Biden and Harris were.
Its heyday. It has seen its best days. They're not coming back after this. The same way we destroyed the auto industry in the United States, the same way we destroyed all manufacturing in the United States. The very thing that Donald Trump claims he's trying to reverse right now, he's doing to the U.S. oil and gas industry. And he's doing it at a time where energy demand in the United States is going to grow faster than it's ever grown in history. Now, I don't know how all of this other stuff is going to play out with the tariffs and the manufacturing. I have my ideas, but I'm going to stick to oil and gas. When this is all said and done, Donald Trump will be the biggest failure of a president ever in the history of the United States.
Biden did not drain the reserves. That was actually a congressional bill that he had to sell so much from the strategic reserve, mandated under a Congress under Trump, passed under Trump. They went through with it at the time. And actually, the sale and then Biden refilling the strategic reserve made us money. He sold for a higher price than he refilled it at. Yeah, that was a congressional mandate that was passed under Congress under Trump administration, the last year of Trump, but still. And then they refilled it and made money on it. So,
when it comes to oil and gas and the national security implications that are involved with that. Yeah. Thanks.
Mr. Global. Mr. Global is pretty good. Actually, a Mr. Global account tried to contact me today. It was a fake. I was so excited. I was like, really? Are you shitting me? Here's one of our favorite guys. Remember this guy? This is the guy that was bitching about, I'm going to lose my farm because Donald Trump, I love Donald Trump. I voted for him, but he froze all the funds for my farm. Now he's a political expert on TikTok, of course.
Play a role in like egg prices or cattle prices and stuff like that. They don't play a direct role in it, but what they do play a role in is energy prices. So the regulations and stuff put on energy.
So once again, Skylar is telling us Donald Trump can't lower food prices, specifically beef prices. He doesn't have that power, and it's Joe Biden's fault. Yes. The $22 a pound I paid for steak today is Joe Biden's fault. Because of all the regulations Joe Biden put on oil and gas, it made it skyrocket in 2021. Diesel was $6 a gallon. That hurt cattle producers. And here we are 4 years later, we have a cattle shortage. Now, I will agree with Skylar on one thing. The high fuel prices we saw into 21 and 22 is contributing a lot to the high beef and food prices we're seeing right now, especially beef. In addition to that, Skylar recognizes that low supply and high demand means high prices. He said so in his last video. But what he will never be able to explain is how any regulations that Joe Biden passed made supply low.
It didn't.
They couldn't even name one of the regulations, let's be honest. But for some reason, Donald Trump taking nearly 10 million barrels of oil a day off the global markets didn't have anything to do with supply being low. That didn't have anything to do with it. And for some reason, the fact that this is where gas prices peaked, you see them start to fall there.
Yeah, when Joe Biden left, there was actually, he put more back in the strategic reserve than was actually in there. More barrels than was forced to sell in 2022. What was in there in 2022 when it was sold.
The fact that that was perfectly timed with the end of Donald Trump's deal, where they took 9.7 million barrels a day off the market.
They were selling at like $76 a barrel and buying them back at 74.25, 74.75, somewhere around there. They were making money on millions of barrels.
Market doesn't have anything to do with it either. The fact that OPEC restored production from Donald Trump's cuts brought down these gas prices while Joe Biden's regulations were in place, mind you. And understand something else. Joe Biden's regulations were still in place in January when he left office, and gas prices were lower than they are right now. Yeah. And you'll never get an answer out of one of these people because they're literally programmed to think the word regulations is a four-letter word. And of course, there are instances where overregulation can lead to high prices. California. But this idea that the national oil industry was so overregulated that it cut supply so much, even though we increased production in the United States to record production. I mean, if it's all about supply and demand and we had record production, what caused the gas prices to go high? Maybe it was OPEC cutting production by 9.7 million barrels a day.
Uh-oh.
And what does all this mean? What all this means is that the unbelievable prices we're paying for beef right now under the new Trump administration are directly correlated to the actions of the old Trump administration. Yeah, we're still paying for that first one. Oh, Skylar. Thanks.
Didn't Biden shut down all those leases? What leases?
Presidents don't.
Biden didn't hurt oil and gas at all. We're reeling from Donald Trump's destruction of the oil and gas industry by asking OPEC to produce a bunch more oil and then asking them to stop production.
Do we need a strategic petroleum reserve when we are the #1 producer of oil in the world? Absolutely.
It's weird because he even ran on, like reducing oil and gas. We were drilling more oil and gas when Joe Biden left than we ever had before. We were the top producers in the world.
Let's just remind ourselves that the United States doesn't produce any oil. Companies do, right? And those companies own that oil until they sell it, okay? And if there was a supply disruption, and that's when we chose to purchase oil from oil companies, instead of having a reserve, we would always be purchasing oil at extremely high prices when we needed it for an emergency. By not having a strategic petroleum reserve, we have zero ability to buy low, sell high, right? In addition to that, do we really want to rely on corporations when we're in a supply disruption? Do we really want to rely on them to quickly extract the oil we need? No, we don't. When we drew oil out of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, we were able to draw 1 million barrels a day out of the reserve almost immediately. The United States can't produce, and oil companies can't produce an additional 1 million barrels a day anytime soon. So any supply disruption we would have would be prolonged.
The only reason that Donald Trump bought and put in the SPR was because the oil market was so fucked at the time because COVID. I think oil was like $24 a barrel.
By us not having a Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And then there's this whole thing where we're not going to remain the #1 producer of oil in the world forever. That's not a thing. This is temporary. I'd say in 5 to 7 years, we're no longer the #1 producer in the world. And it could be sooner, but I'd say 5 to 7 years. Every time the oil market crashes, we have big production declines in the United States. And when oil prices recover, a wave or a flood of new investments come back into the industry and prop it back up, and we regain oil production. Those days are over. Those investment dollars are not going to flood back into the industry like they have in the past. Some will, but not like they have historically. And when you have nation states around the world that are dependent and reliant on the sale of oil, they're always going to keep their oil production propped up. Our oil here is produced by businesses. And there's going to come a time when it's not a great business. Now, I do believe we will remain the #1 natural gas producer and exporter in the world. I believe we will hold that for a long time. But our oil production is already in decline. 3 months of a Trump presidency, and we're already losing oil production. It happens very quick when it happens. So to answer your question, there's many reasons why we absolutely...
But everybody thinks he's the oil and gas guy. I don't understand it.
Regardless of how much oil we produce. Yes. Thanks. Do we need a Strategic Petroleum Reserve when we are the #1 producer of oil in the world? Absolutely.
Yeah, so there was laws passed in 2015, 2016, 2018 that all called for the sale of millions of barrels from the SPR. Joe Biden just didn't wake up one day and was like, I'm going to sell some oil. Like, it was carrying out laws that were passed. And then rebuying when that shit is low. They're mandated sales. I'm sure he's got more videos on the SPR, but I didn't see what leases you were talking about. They passed, when Joe Biden was in, they passed a law about drilling off the Gulf, but it was in places that were already not drilling, where there's not oil anyways. It didn't even affect the area that we do drill in. There's no one wants any leases in Alaska. The last time we had an auction there were 0 bidders. The time before that we had an auction there were only 2 bidders, and they were buying it for $20 an acre. Like, I don't know. It's all in the way the fucking media and Donald Trump push it out there. It's not nearly as much as people think. Hold on just a second.
What's up, Facebook, and what's up, Instagram?
Let's see what he's doing.
I go live today, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. This one's going to be a short video because I'm actually meeting my mother for dinner tonight. So I just want to do an update since I'm officially back from Miami, Florida, which I was down at an event all last week at Trump Doral, which I'm sporting the Trump Doral shirt right here. So what a beautiful place. It's like an oasis down there in the middle of all the concrete jungle. But it is a beautiful place. It's got quite a few, I think about 4 courses. I don't know how many it has. Someone told me it has 4 courses. I don't see how it fits there, but apparently it has 4 courses. I cannot physically play golf anymore, which I wish I could, but I can't due to all of my injuries I had in the military. But
oh my goodness.
Yeah, what a beautiful place. The food is off the chain, though. I have not been to a President Trump facility yet, though, that does not have good food, so there's that. But
he was sharing these posts. So somebody reached out to me that's a travel agent, and we're talking about him sharing all these posts as if it's confirmed that Donald Trump likes him or whatever, because he's like staying in Trump's hotels and shit and golf courses. And they were like reaching out, and they're like, certain times of the year, you can basically go there for almost free. Like, it's super fucking cheap. Like, he's just booking a room there. Like, Donald Trump's not personally inviting him to stay in his hotels.
I recommend the tomato bisque soup, and also the mashed potatoes are off the chain. I just love mashed potatoes, but that's just me. And then the Trump burger, medium rare. Yeah, they do it right there.
But he obviously uses this. He's been talking about Trump for 5 goddamn minutes because people think that makes him like legit. Anybody can stay in a Trump hotel.
So if you ever get a chance to go. So I just want to do a few updates on what you've seen in the last week or two. I mean, President Trump is rapid fire right now. And I heard someone this past week say something really cool that I thought was interesting in a good way.
I'll see if I can find that poster.
That I still have a lot of people out there that are just jealous. They're just straight up jealous of me.
Oh my God. Jealousy.
And it's not about me. It's about humanity first. It's about we the people, about people losing titles, losing entitlement, resume, whatever it is. And some just cannot seem to get over that. But I heard someone say this pretty well. I can't remember who it was. I love giving credit when people say things, but I forget who said this. But it was someone who follows me, and they said, the people who follow you are there for you. But they're there for your material that you bring that gives peace and comfort, because once people do take the initiative to go read what's in place and see what...
All right, so it says, haha, this gets even better, guys. It was really all last week, a truther conference with Charlie Ward, and they set up the same week as the F1, as well as some networking with the rich for money and Jets event. Why do we always have to pretend to be invited trying to get investments on their Q bandwagon? And it shows like Charlie Ward and different people at down at Trump National Doral, Miami, right? And it shows a bunch of people posting it. And then where are these comments? Hold on. Pretty embarrassing to do events to try to get investors and F1 on board. Charlie Ward is trying to make it like it has something to do with his quantum bullshit, whatever. That's very strange. Maybe this isn't the right. It's that person right there, but those are gone. Let's see. All comments. Newest comments, maybe. Sorry, let me go back to notifications. Mentioned you in their comments. That's where I need to be. Okay, here it is. So this is Derek Johnson. It says, I just can't when this pops up because as a travel agent, I can get anyone to stay at Trump Doral. It's a hotel, a golf club. It's not anything special, but a hotel anymore. Anyone can pay to go to. In fact, I have rooms I can get for golf tournaments this summer as low as $281 a night. It cracks me up for anyone to believe that he got invited. So it shows him post, and it says, looks like you got the cheap room, bro. I mean, compared to Laugh Out Loud, it's definitely clean because anyone can pay to go. And then someone else says, you've been validated again. How? Anyone can pay to stay and play golf. I can, as a travel agent, get anyone to stay at Trump Doral. It isn't a secret. And then people are calling him Broke Dick Johnson. So I said, I'm so glad that people are using Broke Dick nickname. I said I came up with it, but then I said, to be clear, I didn't invent it. It's a military phrase, but it definitely applies to him. And then someone said, I got to record some of these random hotel deals on my back end. As long as there's a way you can blur out my information. I said, yeah, send it. They said, I can even grab free golf, free Wi-Fi, etc. The same exact room he paid for during a truther conference that weekend for a basic deluxe room was only $281 a night. And in possible event discount for 20-30%. He didn't pay much at all to pretend like he was personally invited from Trump. Like, basically, when he posts these Trump hotels, people are like, he invited you back. Oh, my God, he loves you so much. But he's just getting a room. probably the tour's getting a room and inviting him. Awesome, blah, blah, blah. But basically, I don't know why he's using this to say that he's doing something. He's just renting a room at a hotel. Like when I stay at the Hilton, I don't know fucking Mr. Hilton. You know what I mean? It's so weird that people are like, this confirms that you're real once again. What about when he told us he was going to Gitmo and a local radio station was sending him there to cover the executions and trials of the deep state? He hasn't been validated fucking once at all.
What is actual in laws and orders? You don't need a law degree. You don't need a degree, period. You don't have to be a veteran with a DD-214. You don't have to be a combat veteran like all these combat veterans who are bragging about being a combat veteran.
Are you mad because you haven't been to combat, bro? If you're scared, you can hop in my pocket. I got combat patches. I got spurs.
You don't have to be anything. You don't even have to go to school. If you have a brain and you show initiative and you apply your brain, if you'll read and study the
this, I've never, ever, like I've seen people be jealous. I've even seen people be like, hey, I served in a peacetime. It's no big deal. No, thank you for your service, right? But I've seen people be jealous of like combat action badges or going to combat or having combat deployments. Never seen anybody as bad as Derek Johnson.
glossary. You don't even have to know any other thing. But if you study this particular glossary and you study the language, the verbiage, and then you go put it all together, all right, that's all you need. So, at this point, August will be 3 years. I've seen and heard every death threat. I have seen and heard every comment. I have seen and heard every slander. I have seen and heard every defamation. I have seen and heard every fraud. I have seen and heard, and it's mainly from people who have criminal records.
Oh,
yeah, that they also have their records too. They want
surely not.
Mine's lickety clean. It's like a
bro. I've committed war crimes. I don't give a fuck. You think I give a fuck if you found my criminal record?
Whistle. Hey, so you're welcome to get on Google. Go to Google.
God damn.
There's a cool website you can get on called instantcheckmate.com. Costs you $1 for 5 days. Put in any name you want. Pull up all the background records you want. You ain't gonna find anything on mine. All right, clean.
Thank God.
Speeding tickets on mine. But most
clean as a whistle.
Have speeding tickets, which are fine. People have speeding.
People talk about me. I'll have speeding tickets.
Ticket in their life. That's fine. Whatever. All right. They have judgments. They have liens.
Oh my God.
That's just on the minimum. Then some have.
Oh my God. Not that. Not a UCC filing and a lien. A lien? I violated the Geneva Convention in 2 different countries. The fuck out of here, that shit.
Battery, child abandonment, single battery,
Ooh.
all kinds of DUI.
Oh my God.
Now, I'm all right with people making mistakes. That's fine. Make a mistake. But if you're going to talk about people and you want to be in this field of showing people the truth and the facts and you want to call yourself a patriot, you probably want to make sure your record's clean before you talk about mine. Because my record is clean.
Ooh.
Most of y'all's ain't.
Thank God.
It depends on how you're portraying yourself. And if you're portraying yourself to be this angel, this God-sent Christian that everybody needs to go follow, then you probably want your record clean before you try to talk about mine. But especially all those who try to frame me, heroin, all kinds of stuff on the record.
Heroin? Heroin on the record? Are you retarded? Whose police what police station can you pull up somebody's record and it says heroin? Are you just guessing what a drug is from the schedule? Because it doesn't say heroin.
So probably want to make sure before you talk about somebody else that your backyard is cleaned up and your front yard and your house and your record before you talk about me.
Thank God.
The other thing, before we get rolling good, there seems to be these people out there that have a problem. They're all testosterone. Oh, they're all Billy, beat my chest, look at me. Oh, I'm a combat veteran. Oh, I did 4 tours in Iraq and 4 tours in Afghanistan. Derek Johnson don't know shit. Blah, blah,
Thank God.
blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. You don't have to be a veteran to know what's going on. There's that. All right. 2, your DD-214 and your service has nothing to do with what's going on right now in one kind of context. It does in another. It doesn't.
Except when you use it to validate that you know what you're talking about all the fucking time.
Another. Because here's what's going to happen.
You introduce yourself as a retired military veteran.
All of you, I'm bigger, better than Derek Johnson. Great for you. Hats off to you. Hats off to you. But what's going to happen is people are tired of entitlement. People are tired of people putting people down. People are tired of the braggadocious. Oh, I'm better than you. I'm bigger than you. You can't know this. You can't know. People are forgiven. Everybody
I love it.
Crumbs by a hierarchy of assholes and pompous idiots and incompetent fools who are up here in this thing called Congress, all right? And then they have people behind them who are the ones with the guns on them telling them this is what you're going to do. This is how it's going to be done. And
super jealous. So fucking jealous, dude. I bet he'd come in his pants if I showed him my combat spurs.
Even though the American people couldn't know what's going on, but the American people were doing what Americans are supposed to do. Food, water, shelter. Food, water, shelter. Every American wants to live the American dream. They want to be married, most of them. And I'm not here to talk about what kind of spouse you have. That's up to you. But most people want to be married, want to have children, want to live a good life. Want to have a car, a truck, a boat, a dog, a backyard, a fence, a lake, a boat, a river, a stream, a creek. That's what most
We just naming bodies of water?
Americans want. All right. And if you're too busy trying to talk about what someone, I don't have what you have, you're part of the problem. You are the problem.
A creek, a stream, a pond, a lake, a river, an ocean. What the fuck are we doing, dude? A sea, the Red Sea.
And let's go ahead and get this straight out the gate. All these veterans out there who act like that, military-industrial complex for one. Two.
Ooh, you were part of the military-industrial complex. You didn't even get past the military part to even get to industrial or complex, bro.
85% of veteran suicide, hear me out, 85% of veteran suicide are from veterans who said that other veterans who saw combat and did more than them made them feel like their service was invaluable. So that's
You're a fucking liar! You're a fucking liar. $85%. No goddamn way. No goddamn way. 85% of veteran suicides are people who say other veterans made them feel inadequate. The vast majority of veteran suicides are people who actually saw combat. So how the fuck are 85% going to be like, oh, they told me I didn't see combat?
are from veterans who said that other veterans who saw combat and did more than them made them feel like their service was invaluable. So that's on you, all you military industrial complex. Oh, I did this, and this, and he did.
That's a 100% a made up statistic. 100%. When they left suicide notes that said other veterans made me feel like my service was invaluable.
Do this, she didn't do that, he didn't do this. That's on you. Their blood is on your hands. So if you want to lay down at night with that attitude, then go right ahead.
What a fucking pussy, dude. Just say you're a fucking broke Dick Johnson.
Go right on ahead, because that's what you're doing. 85%. That's VA statistics. All right, they have.
Where? Where are they at? Let's see. 27% of all veterans reported having had a difficult time adjusting to civilian life. 44% of post 9/11 veterans cohort indicated difficulty in readjusting. Reintegration in civilian life, spouse's wife behavior, substance abuse. 18 variables, including demographics, characteristics, military career. Researchers found that 10 variables were significantly predictors of the ease of veterans' reintegration into civilian life. 20% of veterans reported that legal problems were an obstacle to successful reintegration. Yeah, this doesn't exist. You're fucking lying. You're fucking lying. There's no goddamn way. Every statistic. 6,000 veteran suicide, 16.8 dying a day by suicide. Just as VHA, Veterans Health Administration, rose from 27 to 41%. Why are veterans at a higher risk? Acute psychosocial stressors, having low cholesterol, higher doses of opioid medications for pain control, insomnia, mental health conditions like anxiety disorder, manic depressive disorder, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and traumatic brain injury, TBIs. Substance misuse, especially heavy binge drinking. To be depressed, to have social and financial problems, to engage in impulsive and high-risk behaviors. More than 1 in 10 veterans are diagnosed with substance abuse use disorder. Veterans are more likely to use alcohol. Many also have a greater risk of opioid overdose. Anxiety disorder, bipolar disorder, HIV, liver disease, schizophrenia, seizures. Yeah, I don't see any. There's no fucking what 85%. Are you fucking stupid, dude? 85%. There's no goddamn way. I'm just reading a bunch of white papers right now. Hold on. There's no way. 85% of veteran suicides. No goddamn way.
I've done study after study after study. 85% of veteran suicides.
And he says multiple studies. Study after study after study after study. Hold on. Let's start a chat GPT. What is the leading factor in veteran suicide causes? PTSD, other mental health conditions. The leading factor in veteran suicide is untreated or inadequately treated mental health conditions, particularly post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and substance use disorder. However, it's rarely a single cause. Suicide among veterans is typically the result of a complex interplay of factors. The most consistently identified and influential ones include PTSD from combat or traumatic experiences, major depression, anxiety disorders, TBI, access to firearms. Veterans are more likely to own firearms. The majority of veteran suicides, around 70%, involve guns. Only 70% of veteran suicides involve guns, and you want me to believe that 85% are because they've been bullied by other veterans? It's like Trump saying that egg prices went down 94%. No goddamn way. Are there any studies showing that veterans commit suicide because other veterans discredit their service to the country? Some veterans experience what is called moral injury, a deep sense of betrayal or violation of moral beliefs. Several qualitative studies, interviews have been highlighted that veterans may feel invalidated by others in the military community. Some face criticism or exclusion based on branch, deployment history, type of service. These interactions can contribute to feelings of worthlessness or isolation. There are no ties to veteran suicide studies. Related research says unit cohesion and social support found that peer support reduces suicide risk. Identity-related struggles and lack of recognition can worsen PTSD. Mental health stigma among that's probably the big one. Dude, there was something wrong with me, 100%. But I made excuses that I was just angry or wasn't fitting in or it would get better or I could fix this. It took me 10 years. That's why I don't believe there should be any limit. There shouldn't be any stigma around it. There shouldn't be these people like that fucking writing these news articles saying the veterans are basically just trying to get free money. Bullshit that we read. It took me 10 years to go see a therapist. I probably should have saw a therapist the day I got out. It took me 10 fucking years.
Side of the ones who left notes, who actually left a note, left a letter, was on the phone with someone, said that their service was invaluable because of pompous, asshole, incompetent, douchebags, shitbags like that.
This is just made up.
So I'm getting tired of it just as much as y'all are. You know, you can be an operator, you can be in the cabinet, you can be anywhere and still have feelings like this. It's getting old and it's getting tired. It's amazing that we have that many people out there that don't care about humanity, but they all freaking claim that they do. And yet people still follow this shit. You still click on it, you still follow them. Why? Why do you still follow these people? It's all on YouTube. You all claim you want it cleaned out. You all claim that you want to see transparency. You all claim you want a cleaned out system, but yet you still follow these idiots. I mean, it's amazing.
It's amazing to Derek.
I'm just feeling it. I just felt like it. I think we need another rant. I think we need another boost and a kick in the butt for people. So had these idiots on my Twitter today. One claims to be a combat veteran. The other one claims to be an attorney.
Combat veteran. I'm a combat veteran.
You don't have to be a lawyer again. You don't have to know the law. You just need to know what President Trump put into place, and you can know everything that's going on. So I get frustrated for people when I hear people at events, like I was just at, I hear people say, gosh, there's just so much noise, and there's so many people, and this one says they know, and this one, they don't know. The only way you know is to know who the commander is, to know who's in charge. If you love President Trump, then you need to know his blueprint. You need to know what he's working with.
Ooh.
I show you. And any
that makes sense.
Who claims to be a combat veteran that don't know, you really look stupid right now. You look even more atrocious. And the more people who
Donald Trump was put in place by the military. This is a fucking elite special forces military operation that nobody knows about except for Derek.
read these #1 best-selling books that I have, call me a grifter and claim that I'm advertising and all this other stuff, the more
Yeah, you're a grifting piece of shit.
you say that shit, the worse it's going to look on you. And I'm going to tag you, and I'm going to show your profile to the whole world to show that you're military-industrial complex, and you don't give a damn about people, because that's exactly what you're doing. Because as a veteran, you're supposed to care about other people first, not yourself. And you're doing the polar opposite of that. So when you do that, I'm going to blast you out there, because this is not about popularity to me. This is not about having a platform. God gave me a platform, and I have a platform that I can show people the .gov, the .mil sites, how it all pairs together, if they'll take the initiative and go read and study. But it is atrocious that we still have so many people, quote-unquote podcasters, quote-unquote investigative journalists, and here I am having to fight people on both sides.
Oh my goodness.
We don't have
He's beating off dude with both hands.
enough people who have the balls or the tits or whatever you want to call it out there. We don't have enough people who still want to share the real truth, to show over and over again and to tag these books and or tag people all over the comment boxes to show people the real truth. We have too many want a name and want a face. They want a name and a face. They want to be popular. Hey, look at me, look at me. You're not an investigative journalist. You're an average person who's getting regurgitated information from the people who are actually doing stuff. And all you asshole attorneys out there, if you're mad about it, then you're showing your color. You're putting
Oh my God.
It shows exactly what your motives are and that you're on the deep state. Because if you're pissed about what's going on right now, that means your pocketbook is being affected. That means that you're actually on that side. So all of you listening, you want to know what's really going on? When people get mad or they're saying that I'm a grifter and I'm fraudulent or I'm stolen valor and all these other things, then if you don't go read what President Trump has in place, you're never going to know the truth.
You're a grifter. You're a piece of shit.
All of the talking, flapping gums out there. That's how you differentiate it. How can you claim to love and support a man if you don't even know what the man's working with? That baffles me more than anything in the world. I mean, it's pointless. It's pointless to claim to be a President Trump supporter if you don't want to know what the man's working with. It's pointless. It don't matter. None of this matters.
Oh, throw
it. Want to know what the man's working with. This man,
I like it.
His face, his brand, his image, everything. His family sacrificed their name, their brand, their image, their livelihood, their everything. They sacrificed everything for you. For you to whine, bitch, fuss, cuss, moan, gripe, bicker, argue, and all these other things. They sacrificed this for you.
He's really hitting the points now, chat. Trump sacrifices for you. His family's increased their wealth by $2.9 billion just in cryptocurrency. And this is a sacrifice for you.
And it's
Are we still throwing shit?
Where are we? What is this? I mean, it's atrocious. It's atrocious where we've gotten.
I felt like I needed to throw something. Sorry.
Blue check. All the comment bots are lost. And this person wants to be a name and a face. Lonnie is her name. All right. Got a blue check. All the comment bots. There's already answers for people. I didn't write this. I wrote this book, yes, but I didn't write the laws and the orders. President Donald John Trump put these laws and orders in place. It is a
Oh my goodness.
taking place. It's unique. It's biblical. It's monumental. It's historical. But there's a unique set of laws and orders that go together.
Do you want a small heart?
The law and orders, guys.
You don't have to use
I threw a half-empty water bottle. I hope it's not spilling.
the tiny green monsters.
Oh, well.
That make a president a wartime president. And all you piece of shit veterans out there, all you piece of shit that have 20 years in service.
So this guy believes that Trump was installed by the military in 2016. He was secretly president in 2020, and he's been reinstalled. They cheated and installed him as president in 2020 as well. And it's a secret military operation to expose all the deep state Democrats that are subverting all this and baby tunnel, all this stupid shit, right? That's what he believes. And he wrote something called The Laws and Orders and how he misinterprets every fucking thing in the world, especially like executive orders and shit, to prove that Trump has been secretly in control this whole time. It's just wild. Thank you for the gift of sub.
Michaela Robertson 81 gifted a tier 1 sub to Kev 99GH.
And he leans heavily. Oh, thank you. He leans heavily on his military background. Turns out he was barely in the military for 2 years. He calls himself a retired military man. He was barely in the military for 2 years. He tried to bounce out during boot camp, and his brother called in a favor so they'd ease up off him so he could graduate. He hurts his knee when he gets to his unit, Then he refuses to train, saying that he's injured. He sits there for months and months and months of them calling him a shitbag and saying, you broke dick, you need to do your job. Finally, there's nothing they can do with him. He's what I think is faking the injury. So he finally gets a medical retirement. He basically grifted the military system. There are people that do it all the time, right? They get a small injury, whatever it may be, as long as there's like paperwork attached to it. And then you just pretend that it's a bigger injury and you can't continue on. And eventually they have to medically retire you out. That's all you got. If you've completed your training, that's the only option they got. If you get a medical retirement rating of 30% or more, then you're automatically retired with full benefits from the military.
And 18 years of service, and 10 years of service, and you got a ribbon bag that's longer than Rosie O'Donnell's rap sheet. All right, all of you who have badges and medals, way more
Rosie O'Donnell's rap sheet.
than the average little veteran, you look worse. You look worse. And this is not about what you did
For not knowing that Trump's the secret commander.
in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. It's not what about you did. Were you infantry? Oh, were you a tanker? It ain't about what you did in the military.
I was a scout. Thanks for asking.
It's what orders you served under. And you don't even know the very laws and orders of which you served under. That is terrible and atrocious. And you only make yourself look worse. You only make yourself look stupid, ignorant, and incompetent. And I'm going to tell you what.
All those?
It's all said and done. Guess who's going to be the one left standing? Me. And this book. Because President Donald John Trump, the generals, and world leaders who put on this whole operation, it's all outlined in laws and orders. And for people who have gone and read and studied and put it together, that's why they're here. And anybody who comes in the comment boxes and you try to tear down other people, and you try to distract other people, you try to confuse other people, I'm going to blast you to the whole damn world. You are. And you're going to get a special Scooby Snap that says, here's a piece of shit who don't want to get with humanity. Here's a piece of crap
You got him.
who don't want to get with humanity. And what's funny about it all is...
Actually, here it says, VA behavioral autopsy program data indicated that the most frequently identified risk factor were pain at 53.8%, sleep problems at 51.4%, increased health problems at 42%, recent declines in physical ability at 34%, relationship problems at 33%, hopelessness at 30%, impulsivity at 27%, and unsecured firearms in the home at 27%. Did any of those sound like other veterans picking on veterans for not their service wasn't good enough? It didn't sound like that to me, but whatever. Fucking loser, dude.
If you can't afford this, guess what?
He claimed when he was in the military, he removed this after I called him out on it. So I found out when he's in the military, listen, if you're refusing to train, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. If your command believes that you're feigning an injury, they will call you all kinds of horrible shit. And I think you deserve it. They'll tell you you're a disgrace to your uniform. They'll tell you that you're a piece of shit for signing the contract and not completing it. They'll call you a broke dick and a sick call ranger, and they'll make fun of you and talk shit. And that's their last attempt to kind of motivate you to like, hey, you're fucking everybody over, right? We know you're feigning this injury. Now, if you continue to fake that injury, you're probably going to get that medical you're looking for, right? It's very hard to prosecute somebody and say they're not in pain, right? They're lying. It's hard to do that, right? Because pain is a scale, it's in the head, whatever. They will call you all kinds of horrible shit. They will separate you from the unit because you bring unit morale down. You give other people the idea to fake an injury to get out and shit. You're toxic for the unit, and they will tell you that. I'm not taking away from that. That happens. I've seen it happen all the way from boot camp through all the units I've ever been through. Somebody tries it, right? But what he said happened was he was tortured. He was tortured by Obama soldiers. He claims he was tortured by soldiers who liked Barack Obama as president. I called him out on it, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He said the only way he got the torture to stop was he knew a guy that was way high up in Congress that was in on the Trump plan before it was even enacted, behind the scenes Q guy, and he called it in and had an investigation started so the Obama soldiers stopped torturing him. But he let it slip one time when he was talking about being tortured by these soldiers, and he said they would say horrible things to me like I'm a disgrace to the uniform and flag and called me broke dick, and I expect that. I expect that from your command and the people around you that you let down. That is not Obama soldiers torture. What? Shut the fuck up. And then when I called him out on it and told everybody how fucking funny it was and how stupid he was even claiming this, he went to his documents page, a website he had posted, and deleted that whole section. The whole section about the torture, he claimed, happened to him at his unit.
I have a thing called the documents.info. They've been there free long before this book.
Page 22, you're right.
You probably want to do more research on me if you're going to talk about me. The documents.info. They've been there long before this book. So it's like you got to build a bear section. You got people who want to hear mainstream still. You got people who want to go to investigative journalists who don't know anything. It's just a bunch of noise. It's chaos. And then I hear it from all kinds of people. I still see it in the inboxes. I still see it in emails. I still see it in text messages. I still see it in person. I hear it over and over and over. And I'm like, you're not reading what the man put in place. And then on my dime, keeping my oath, I still have to deal with all that. And I'm supposed to be, professional, keep it all together, not be passionate, not show emotion, and not get mad, not get frustrated.
Don't do it.
You can't be everything for everybody. So I'll just be myself. And for the veterans out there who don't like it, you can shove it up your ass. I don't care. All right? So the guy today said, stolen valor. Well, let's just read what stolen valor is. Since the dumbass claims to be an attorney, let me pull up the Stolen Valor Act for all you competent nincompoops who can't even read a simple law. All right? The Stolen Valor Act of 2013. All right? Is a United States federal law that was passed by the 113th Congress. All right? The law amends that federal criminal code to make it a crime for a person to fraudulently claim to receive a valor award in the act with the intention of obtaining money, property, or tangible benefit.
Hold on. Here it is. I got it. This is what it looked like before he deleted it. It says, global health security and a link. It says, think of terminology. Global, what do we care about the globe? We are America, America first. What did they already know about COVID? Their hands have been in China, Ukraine. Order of succession, DOJ. Look at the three people who would be in charge if the Attorney General were to have died. District of Columbia, Northeastern District of Illinois, Obama cronies, and California liberal-infested attorneys, all corporation and mafia. Here's my story with serving under Obama. Although classified, again, none of this is classified. I just called people and asked about it. Although classified, I will tell you who are reading. I was held captive by Obama's cronies, our own people, interrogated and tortured me for months. Why? Because of my direct connections to direct and indirect goals with white hat operatives, along with my top secret clearance. By the way, almost everybody in the military does anything with combat has top secret at least. My top scores in your entrance exam and my goals being attained to become a general. He was a specialist. I wish I could make this up. It's unfortunate. I was not the only one. The main reason we were tortured, I had contacts with Congress that were heavily involved at those moments in time with a secret society that were planning and building what led to 2016 and 2017 to 2021 to present day. The Obama administration had massive cutbacks to the military as a whole, but a few of us knew how to navigate around the chain of command, skipping rank, and putting in congressionals to try to stay in the military. I was severely injured, knees and backs, to the point of walking on a cane, requiring extensive rehabilitation therapy, along with putting in the congressionals to be PCS'd to a Warrior Transition Unit, WTU. But Obama had shut down many of the WTUs and always had a great excuse with declining numbers. He was in a four-wheeler accident that fucked up his knee. He claimed he did it in training. That was it. He wasn't tortured by anybody.
By convincing another that they received the award. The law is a revised version of a previous statute with roughly the same name that had been struck down by the United States Supreme Court.
I don't believe he's committing stolen valor.
In United States versus Alvarez, 2012.
I think it's funny to say it, though, because he gets so upset.
In that case, the Supreme Court ruled the arrest and prosecution of a citizen for wearing and claiming to have received unearned military awards who did so without criminal intent under the 2005 law violates their constitutional right to freedom of speech. Now, I disagree with that. They should have upheld that because, again, if you claim an award that you don't have, then you should be prosecuted for that. If you've never been in a uniform, but you're in a uniform standing on the side of the road with a bunch of ribbons and badges and medals that you don't have, you did not serve and you should not be doing that. Here's what the bill says. This is what the law is for.
Okay.
The Stolen Valor Act of 2013 amends the federal criminal code to rewrite provisions related to fraudulent claims about military service to subject to a fine, imprisonment for not more than a year, or both an individual who, with the intent to obtain money, property, or tangible benefit, fraudulently holds himself out to be a recipient of. So see, you got to go back and disregard all that in the middle, even though it matters, but read from here. Listen to how it says. Amends the federal criminal code to rewrite provisions related to fraudulent claims about military service who holds himself out to be a recipient of the Medal of Honor, Distinguished Service Cross, Navy Cross, Air Force Cross, Silver Star, Purple Heart, Combat Action Ribbon, Combat Infantry Badge, Combat Action Badge, Combat Medical Badge, Combat Action Medal, or any replacement or duplicate medal for such medal as authorized by law. That's how stupid these people are for claiming that I'm stolen valor, for saying I'm retired Army. I am retired Army. So we're going to have this conversation today.
So it's disingenuous so this is the problem. When you say I retired from the Army, most people are going to think that you did your 20 years or at least a pretty long stint, right? Most other people who didn't do somewhere close to 20 years, I can understand if you did like 18 years and then got medically, I can understand you saying I'm retired from the Army, right? Most people who did 2 years and then got out are going to say I was medically retired. Right? Because you were 1/10 of the way there. You come nowhere close. Nowhere close to being an actual retirement for time and service. So most people would say if they did less, like one stint or two stints even, they would say I was medically retired. Yeah, I did 8 years. When someone just comes up to me and says, I'm retired military, they are putting out the perception, whether they mean to or not, that they did quite a few years, close to 20 years. Derek Johnson knows that. So for years, he just went around and said, I'm retired military, I'm retired military, I'm retired military, until someone's like, you only served 2 fucking years. And he's like, medical retirement, you idiot.
And this is going to be the last time I have this damn conversation. I've said a lot of 4-letter words and 3-letter words. I get fired up. I don't know how many times I got to show the photo of me and my paper. There's some things you can Photoshop, but when it comes to little fine print and I'm holding a photo of my, whatever you want to call it, my exit out of the military like these people, retired. So if you got a problem with me being retired military, then you need to go to the United States Army and take that up with the Army and say, why'd you retire?
Almost everybody would say, and especially in his position, right? He didn't even finish one full contract. It's disingenuous to just say I'm retired. Especially with anybody that knows anything about the military, that it takes 20 years to retire from the military minimum. He didn't even finish a full contract. Probably would have been 4x2. He probably would have went 4 years active, 2 years inactive, and then that would have been a 6-year contract. He didn't even finish a contract. It's very disingenuous, right? If I told you that I retired as a teacher, and you're like, oh God, that was a lot. You must taught for 20 years, right? And I said, no, I only taught for 1 year, but then I sued the school board, and instead of settling in court, they just decided to put me in for retirements. It would be really disingenuous to say I retired as a teacher, right?
Retired this guy. He didn't do 20 years. How did you retire him when he didn't do 20 years? That's how stupid you are. You're ignorant, stupid, and incompetent.
We know it's true that you can medically retire. We think it's disingenuous when you just say, I'm retired.
There's no other way to split the hair there. There's no other enlightened way to tell you how freaking stupid, ignorant, and you're just incompetent. You're ignorant. All right, there's 2-year veterans, there's 4-year veterans, there's 6-year veterans, there's 8-year veterans, there's 10-year veterans, there's 12-year veterans. There's all kinds of...
Yes, and most of them would not introduce themselves as retired, right? Because you're medically retired. They definitely wouldn't just say retired.
Veterans out there. But you don't have to do 20 years to retire from the military. And if you think that you do, you're an idiot.
Well, short of medical retirement. So basically, the VA has a rating system for like how disabled you are, right? Your disability rating. And you can do this right when you separate, or you can do it while you're still in if you get injured like he did. But all it takes to retire, like I'm fighting for my 100% right now, which I think I truly deserve, but I'm fighting for that with the VA. All it takes when you're still in to be retired is only 30%. That's it. 30% while you're still in the military, and you got retirement for life. Lots of people out here that went to the VA after they got out are well above 30%.
And you're stupid and you're incompetent. And if you don't want to hear how, then you're also stupid and
you're basically medically not fit.
Read and studied and put it together. That's why they're here. And it's a piece of shit who don't want to get with humanity. Here.
I think I skipped ahead too far.
And then I hear it from all kinds of people. Oh, my a person to fraudulently claim to and this.
There's tons of people. Most veterans probably, if they went to the VA and tried to get their disability that they earned, they're over 30%. It's pretty easy.
That is how stupid these people are. For the last time I had this damn conversation, 20 years, how did you retire? Veterans out there. But you don't have to do 20 years to retire from the military. And if you think that you do, you're an idiot. And you're stupid and you're incompetent. And if you don't want to hear how, then you're also stupid.
All those things.
You don't want to learn how you can actually serve the military and then retire you without medical, like the other people do. They go, well, if you didn't do 20 and you retired out, then you medically separated. No, you can also still, check this out, you can also still retire through the Army and get medical as well. A lot of people don't know this stuff because
no, he 100% medically retired through the VA.
They're ignorant, stupid, and lazy, and they don't know that there's layers to the military, and there's all kinds of things that can happen, special circumstances. So I challenge anybody, if you want to take me to court, please do. Please, please, please sue me. Where you spend the money first, you sue.
Who's trying to take you to court for your medical retirement, you fucking retard?
Sue me, and that way when I counter-sue the ever-living shit out of you and I win the case, then guess who has to pay for it? You do. And I'm taking your 401k, I'm taking your retirement, your Social Security, and everything. When I take it, I'm donating it to a charity. I'm not going to keep it myself. So
I bet.
By all means, please, 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 skip the cease and desist and send me a letter that you're suing me for stolen valor. Please, I'm begging you. Please, sue me. Please. I'm begging you. Please sue me.
Did he just get down on his knees?
I want you to sue me. And I'm going to ever live and sue the ever living hell out of you in a counter lawsuit when you do. And when we present the DD-214, and we present the retirement letter, and we present all that, we're also going to film you, and we're going to portray it to the whole world. Now, here's the dumbass who finally had the balls to sue me, but they still got the balls cut off in court because you're a piece of shit who's focusing on the wrong thing in the first place. Two, the American people don't care that I don't have a 20-year DD-214 or resume that says this, and this, that don't have anything to do with your government and with what President Trump and the military and the generals and the world leaders are doing to make the world a better place. So by all means,
if you have more than a 30% disability, 30% or higher, you're basically not fit for duty, and you can retire out. That's what he did.
If you want this, I'm ready. Let's go. Well, I'm gonna tell you again. If you also have,
if your disability existed in some form before your entrance, you'll actually be discharged without benefits. Yeah, you can go to TDRL, I think, temporary disability retired list, or the PDRL, which is permanent disability retired list.
Crap on your record, criminal, battery, whatever it is, heroin, DUI, and all that. I'm also going to display that to the world. All right, so there's that. We can do this all day long, but that's how stupid you are if you claim that I'm stolen valor, that you don't even know that the Stolen Valor Act of 2013 is for people who are claiming a medal. So I challenge you to go back over every video. All I say is I'm okay. When I go on shows, when the host.
And that's super disingenuous. When you're introducing yourself to people, and they use that to give you credibility, and people think that you've been in the military for a large number of years, right? A substantial amount of time, and you really only been there for 2 years.
Says we have so and so. They just say retired veteran. I've never claimed an award I don't have. I don't even have my name. So guess what? My name is my real name. So if you want to pay $1 and go to Instant Checkmate, here's my name. You also see my full name whenever I put out songs. I put out songs all the time. I have to separate my name from other Derek Johnsons out there. All you gotta do, pay you a little $1, go on there, guess what you ain't gonna find? Whoop, you're not gonna find anything because I have a clean record. Not even a speeding ticket. So if you want this, come on, bring the smoke because I'm bringing the fire. So
if you want this, bring the smoke. I'm bringing the fire, big guy. God, he'd smoke a fucking dick, wouldn't he?
You want to bring smoke? I'm gonna burn your house down. It's all there is to it. So I wasn't planning on doing this today. I plan on doing an update show.
Smoke a pole.
I had this little fire that just kept setting under my rear end. And I'm like, you know what? It's time to do this. It's time to do this.
Oh yeah, he did have a medal listed on. I remember that on LinkedIn that he wasn't awarded.
Those veterans, you owe it to the people, not yourself, not me. You owe it to the people. If you are a highly decorated veteran, now's your time to shine. But it ain't your time to shine for yourself. It's your time to shine for your community. Well, first, your friends, your family, your community, your neighborhood, your town, your city, your county, your state. Now's your time to really shine. But if you don't know what's currently in laws and orders right now, Title 10, presidential authority, it's going to look worse on you that you didn't know. And what's bad about it is most Americans who follow me already know that you don't know.
By the way, It's not just people just didn't go out. You know, this guy discredited my service and a bunch of other people's service when we first approached him because he said that any veteran that didn't believe the way he did, that Trump was secretly in charge and running this, and it was a secret military operation, blah, 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 should be shamed and stripped of their veteran status, of any benefits they receive, of any coverage by the VA. We should be stripped of everything as if we never fucking served because we're too dumb to realize that Trump is running a secret military operation from the time he announced his running in the 2016 election.
Because if you did know, a lot of you have a personality. A lot of you would be good on screen.
He called a motherfuckers. So he was saying that there were basically that Trump was building up these troops for arrest and some troops on the border. And a guy that's active duty military said, no, we're not. I'm in the military, right? I'm fucking tip of the spear over here. We're not building up troops to arrest Democrat senators. Like, that's a lie. He called that guy's command and tried to get him in trouble for giving away secret military intelligence when the guy's like, no, you're just lying. We're not building up troops to arrest the Democrats. Why are you telling people that? He called that guy's command and tried to get him in trouble. Blasted his name all over the internet, said he wasn't a true veteran, that he didn't even know his laws and orders, and that he should be kicked out of the military, blah, blah, blah. It's just crazy the stuff he does and believes.
You could be,
and it's all like this little man complex, like this little bro complex. Like, he wishes now that he had a decent service record that he could look back on and say, yeah, you know, I went and fought in Iraq, or I did this, or I did that. And instead, he's got this pitiful record. So when anybody with a normal service record challenges him in any way, shape, or form, he tries to discredit them as much as he can, get them in trouble, put them on blast, take their benefits away, just crazy shit.
You having your own podcast? I'm about to launch a guy, 80 years old. I'm about to launch a new guy on May the 20th in 9 days on a podcast. Retired Lieutenant Colonel. How is it that I have all these retired Lieutenant Colonels, and Generals who back this right here? How? Why?
Well, there's some nut jobs out there. I'll agree. There's that one general run around for years and said that he was on the plane with JFK and JFK Jr. and he didn't actually die or whatever. So
is it that all the flack that I receive are from a bunch of pantyless staff sergeants?
Do you guys know what a boot is? Someone who is like, their whole identity is like, I just got out of the military, and they'll wear their uniform around trying to impress people and shit. When most people that serve can't wait to get out of their fucking uniform, can't wait to get like away from the shit, and like don't even tell people they're in the military. So let me see if I can find this picture. He relies so heavily on all of this, right? It is like his identity. When he, let's see, does this picture exist still? Fake military expert. He used it to get basically an education, right? To go back to school. And then it's so funny seeing his fucking slick sleeve, goddamn, no ribbons, no nothing uniform. Then when he graduated from college, after being medically separated, right, because he refused to train, claimed he had an injury, when he goes back to college and graduates, he shows up in his full fucking dress uniform. With no badges, no medals, no combat ribbons. That's how he walks across the stage to get his diploma that he basically conned the taxpayers out of, right? He wasn't even in 2 years. Damn it, I don't see it. He looks so goddamn goofy in this picture. I don't see it on this page. I've had it sent to me 100 times before. I just wouldn't know what to fucking search to find it. He looks so goddamn goofy. in his full fucking uniform, standing there saying something, we support our vets, whatever college he went to for his MBA. So goddamn good. It's ridiculous. I can email it, stand by. Okay. I know I've had it sent to me a bunch of times. I just don't have it currently. It is there is no way. I wouldn't even hang out with this guy. Like, he is so cringe. Like, look at me, I was in the military. After he conned basically the military. In my personal belief is that he didn't have a real substantial injury, that he refused to train, claiming that he was injured until they didn't have anything else. It's like when, you can be retired from the military for winning the lottery, right? Let's say you're in the military, you're doing a good job or whatever. Let's say you win a couple $1 million. You are now no longer an asset, but more of a liability, right? Because the way the military basically forces your hand to obey commands is they'll punish you, right? They'll put you in the brig, or they'll take away your pay or your weekend pass or whatever. When you've got a couple $1 million in the bank, and not even the lottery, a big inheritance, right? You get a big inheritance from a family member, they can get rid of you through that, right? But to sit there and refuse to train, and claim an injury, then get out, then immediately use your GI benefits, and then as soon as you graduate, show up looking like this goddamn, oh God, it's just bad. He looks so fucking goofy. I wish I had these in better order. I'm still looking too. I know Legend said she'll email it. Certificate of Retirement for the Armed Forces of the United States. I got that. He looks so God damn, he looks so bad. I think I just got it. There it is. Look how he shows up to his graduation. It's the one over here on the right. Three ribbons, a marksman badge, slick sleeved, no fucking specialist rank. Look how he shows up to his graduation. He hasn't even been in long enough to know how goddamn wrong he's wearing his beret. I was in a combat arms unit. If I showed up with a beret looking like this, you want to talk about being in some fucking trouble, bro. Looking like this? Like the goddamn Chef Boyardee guy? Is that what you're doing? Thank God they went to patrol caps. Like, he looks like stolen valor. Look at this goofy motherfucker. I'm proud to be a CSU Ram because the Army. Oh, yeah. When he goes after people's uniform for wearing it wrong, his fucking gig line's all fucked up. His goddamn ties, everything's fucked. He looks like a goddamn soup sandwich, dude. He is fucked up. Showing up looking like this. You broke dick motherfucker. I would have got my ass beat for just showing up like this with my beret. I guarantee you somebody knocked me the fuck out showing up like that. Derek fucking Johnson.
That's kind of odd because I have actually been in the military. I've seen the officer side. I've seen the enlisted side. Why is it that most of flat...
6 years. 6 years after he left the military, he shows up in a full dress uniform for graduation. 6 goddamn years after he got out of the military, he shows up in Class A's for graduation.
that I'm receiving are from a specialist to a staff sergeant. Probably because your ASVAB scores are pretty shitty, pretty low.
What did you just say?
To a military. I've seen the officer side. I've seen the enlisted side. Why is it that most of the flack that I'm receiving are from a specialist to a staff sergeant? Side. Staff sergeants.
How did you see the officer side?
How? Why is it that all the flack that I receive are from a bunch of pantyless staff sergeants? That's kind of odd because I have actually been in the military. I've seen the officer side. I've seen the enlisted side. Why is it that most of the flack that I'm receiving are from a specialist to a staff sergeant? Probably because your ASVAB scores are pretty shitty.
Because that's the bulk. The ASVAB scores has nothing to do with, what are you talking about? Your ASVAB scores has nothing to do with your fucking rank. That's the get in, bro.
Low. I mean, we can pull those records too while we're at it. We can pull the ASVAB scores and we can.
Please, for the love of God. This is the only time that I get to brag about this. If you have the power to pull my ASVAB score, for the love of God, do it. I set a goddamn record on the ASVAB test. I set a fucking record on the ASVAB test. Please pull it. I dare you.
We can go toe to toe with that and see who had a better ASVAB score. You know, people aren't going to care because most people don't give a dang about that anyways.
Do you want a small harvest or a big harvest? You don't have to use chemicals. You just have to understand the power of...
It's such a niche thing to brag about, but this is the one time I get to do it.
Well, that's the reason why mine's high and yours is low. We can do this all day long, but people don't care. People don't give a dang. They don't care.
So your ASVAB affects what jobs you can take. Once you're in your job, it's performance of the job that affects your rank. Time in service, time in grade, and then are you better than the other people that are up for promotion? Has nothing to do with ASVAB. He wouldn't know that because he hasn't been in long enough to even understand how you get rank.
They're not following me because I have an extensive military career. They're not following me because, bad.
That's like saying, oh, you didn't get your doctorate in, education? What was your ACT score not good enough? Like it has not, it's just to get in. That's it. That's it.
And ribbons.
And it tells you, based on your score, you could do a wide range of jobs or maybe a small range of jobs and more jobs that you're suited towards rather than others. Like, that's it. That's all it does. It doesn't have anything to do with getting rank once you're in.
And this, people don't care. When people get told, this is what President Trump's working with, here's this law, here's where it ties in. Here's an order here, there's a visual there. Here's an order here, there's a visual there. That's all people care about. So if you want to do this, we can. But so far, what I've found is everybody who's threatened me, tried to frame me, tried to steal from me, calling me stolen valor, they all have criminal records. In which, while I'm on this, here's another subject. There's a certain person going around saying that I've been, Derek needs Jesus. He's trying to get, he's got all these women, and he's trying to get with married women, and this. Well, one minute it's underage girls, the next minute it's married women. Which one is it?
Are those? Do you think those are exclusive?
Which one are y'all going to stick with? One minute it's underage, the next minute it's married women. I'm a single guy.
He sent some allegedly sent some very, very weird text messages to a friend's daughter.
Never been married, no kids, being talked about by a bunch of middle-aged men who probably need triple doses of Viagra to even see their wee-wee because most of their bellies are fatter than an Oompa Loompa. All right, so they're... There's that. And then there are also middle-aged dudes who probably are unhappy with their wives. So I probably suggest that you don't send your Red Rover, your wife on over because they ain't coming home if they come to old Johnson. All right, go ahead and tell you right now. They ain't coming home.
Oh, broke Dick Johnson.
So if that's what you want to make an accusation of, I would suggest that you tell your wife, hey, don't look over at him. That tall drink of handsome water. Don't look over at him. I know I'm fat and out of shape. But
that tall drink of handsome water is what he just called himself. A tall drink of handsome water.
I swear I'll get better somehow. Buy me a treadmill, but don't send them my way because they ain't coming home. All right, just go ahead and tell you right now. Tell all the women they need to look at their rings and go, oh, I made a promise. That's a commitment. I made a commitment. I can't look at Derek. Go ahead if we want to do that. But there's a particular person walking around at these events who snuck in. He tricked a few people, but he ain't tricked old Johnson. He ain't tricked me. No. And he's walking around with a female right now that's pretty young, way young. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now.
Oh, you interested? Is that why you're interested?
Don't make me show your records to people. Don't make me show that last text message. You ready to talk? You might be the one that needs to be ready to talk.
Is that baby Trump person?
I got everything on all of you. They're all filthy. They're all pathetic, and they're all pieces of you know what. They're not patriots. Oh, they're patriots, all right. They want to get a payday. See, I'm the one that gets beat up for it. So I needed to do this. Woo! Ooh, that felt good to do that. Finally, that's been built up. I've been walking around for 3 years knowing everything I know on all these piece of doo-doos. All right.
It reminds me of if Steve from Blue's Clues had a patriotic mental breakdown and started being Steven from Texas.
And I had to go down to the Lions Den last week and be around.
He even lies about like what his family did. Like his family's these big ranchers and we own all this farmland and shit. Like he even lies about what his background is. It's so fucking creepy.
And I still don't understand why certain people are associated with these people.
So cringe.
Tell you what, I'm going to be the only one left standing when this is all said and done because laws and orders by President Trump is what I'm here for. All right. I am a retired veteran. All right. I can more than prove that. All right. I don't understand why the Army keeps sending me compensation monthly and monthly retirement letters. I don't understand why I have a plaque that hangs on my wall that says Army retired. All right. I don't understand how I got a bachelor's degree in business.
I just think you should be more honest about that.
I don't know how I moved to Fort Collins, Colorado. These long legs, no ass at all. I got a no ass at all problem. I don't know how I moved physically from Texas to Colorado. I don't know how I managed to get into the system, go in there and get an MBA, Master's of Business. I was right on the 4.0. I don't know how that happened with the GI Bill because clearly I'm not Army retired.
Well, you don't need to be retired to have the GI Bill. I think as long as you don't have dishonorable, you got the GI Bill.
I have the full GI Bill, which if they claim that I only have one stint in service and they say I'm not retired, then I don't know how I'll be able to have a full GI Bill, which I have a full GI Bill. And I actually have some GI Bill left, which means I can go to law school. I can do a lot of other things.
Oh, please.
That I might want to do because I have 2 years left on my GI Bill. I don't know how that happened. Can someone please enlighten me how I got this letter that says I'm Army retired? I get compensation monthly by the Army. I got the GI Bill with 2 years left on it and already got a master's degree with part of it. Can someone please enlighten me? I'm like, so I don't even know how I function in the world without all these people. I don't know what I would do. Like, man, I wish they paid my bill or two. I got a power bill. I got 11-foot ceilings and I can't figure out how to regulate the air and the heat. One minute I'm burning up, next minute I'm freezing. Next thing you go, I got a $230 power bill that somehow they never pay. But somehow my Army retirement
Up until a few months ago, weren't you living in your parents' house?
can cover that. Woohoo! I don't know how I've lived all these years without all these idiots.
Until you started all this grifting? You started all this grifting and then you finally bought a house?
Around who have longer resumes, longer DD-214s, but they don't even know a presidential order put into place by the man they all claim to support. Man, I love being
Well, that's where I differentiate from everybody else. I don't support Trump at all.
a smart ass sometimes. Sometimes it does pay to have a smart ass mouth and some slang language because it's just so much fun when people think that they're trolling you or they think that they're, oh, I'm going to get him now. I'm really going to get him. It's like, you're fat.
There's also the accusation from his hometown, because somebody mentioned it in chat, that at one time he kind of got the ire of some fathers when he was searching for some young girls to be in his music video when he was starting his fucking country music career. And he tells this story about he shows up, nobody liked him in school, and he was a nerd, and they told him he'd never be nothing. He shows up on his tour bus at the high school football game, and everybody's like, oh my God, is that Derek Johnson? Or some stupid shit he made up.
You're out of shape. You're lazy. You're incompetent. You're probably not happy with your out-of-shape wife as well, all right? You probably are not happy with the conversations y'all have because you probably can't really have many because you're both dumb as bricks, and you're stuck with each other for life, all right? You can't read. Most of you read at a 6th grade education or below because that's what data shows on Google, and so you
Google. That's what data shows on Google.
can't hang with the big dogs, so you just sit there and you bark all the time because your fat ass can't even get off the porch, all right? So they're all saying that if you can't run with the big dogs, get off the porch. Well, they're so fat and ugly and stupid and incompetent, they can't get off the porch. Like, so they have to be what? Pulled off the porch, and when you pull the dog by the tail or the collar, they normally...
No, he doesn't have a wife. He does not have a wife. He doesn't have kids. He doesn't have a life. He lived with his parents up until literally like 6 months ago.
And they complain and they gripe. So there's that. I love this, man. I love roasting people that are dumb, stupid, incompetent. Because it's going to help you people out there grow some yourself. Because a lot of you are dealing with idiots in your life. You're dealing with people who stress you out, give you anxiety, give you grief. They talk down to you. They belittle you. Some of them even abuse you physically. I've heard this. Physical and emotional, which emotional abuse is a lot worse than physical because you can get over physical. Emotional is a little bit more difficult. So a lot of you need to see someone like
those Obama soldiers who were torturing you.
me who don't give a shit about my image and I don't care about my name. I care about it in other aspects, which is why I'm fighting for it. But at the same time, I don't care from the other way. So a lot of you need to learn how to fight. A lot of you don't know how to fight. You're afraid of being canceled. You're afraid of people who's going to say something. Oh, look at them. They're going crazy. They got an anger management problem. Well, maybe I do. It's probably because of people like that. Absolutely. I probably do have a problem because they are the problem. All right. And the whole operation is to drain the swamp. So why do we have people replicating the swamp? How can you support President Trump but then turn around and support people who do the same thing that was done to him? That's what these people do. They do it to people still support the same people who are doing the same thing. President Trump. That don't make sense at all. But then when someone reveals their background or someone shows, oh, here they are, then the same people will go, that's drama. All they do is fight. And you can't win. You just can't win with this stuff. You can't win. So you want the truth.
There's one of him screaming right? Somebody said something about him being broke dick and only serving a couple years. And there's a video of him screaming, "What? You don't know what it's like until a veteran calls you, wakes you up out of bed at 2 a.m. in the morning and says that your music and your videos saved his life." And he's like fucking shaking, screaming so loud. It's insane.
And you want to be shown the truth.
He has some of the best meltdowns.
You want to be empowered by the truth. You want to be empowered, but you can't even handle it when someone gives it to you, saying, "Hey, this person here, they're not a patriot. They can't. How can they be a patriot? They got all this stuff on the record. Yeah, if they did it 20 years ago, great. But why are they still showing that they're trying to create fraud, corruption, steal something?"
And there's an active duty Space Force guy that called him out because he said that Trump took over Space Force to expose all the fraud that was going on and the 10 days of darkness and shit. He used to say all that, but then an active duty Space Force captain called him out, Chuck Ruffin, and he's like, "This isn't true." He didn't really call him out. He's just like, "This video's not true." And then Derek Johnson got a hard on for him, and they went back and forth 1,000 times. Called his command, tried to get him fucking in trouble and demoted and taking off this, taking off that. All they really did was get Chuck promoted into the social media liaison for the Space Force. So,
and you know why they all need my name? You know why all these podcasters need me? How come they didn't know? You got to think about this. There's some out there right now. They had to make a decision. They had to go, okay, I either got 100% support Derek Johnson or 100% go against him for one reason. These people all claim to be insiders, intel. I hate that word, by the way. I have a buddy. This is what. Let me show you. Let me give you a great example of integrity. I have a friend in New York. The guy has a page. It has 200 followers on it. 200. I'm close to 900,000 on all of my accounts. This guy came 3 hours on the subway to see me in New York. He made 2 of his buddies get on their knees and say I'm sorry to him in front of me because this guy is legit military intelligence. All right, out of the military.
Oh, no.
Former sergeant, a smart sergeant though. All right, former military intel. Don't look like me. Tad.
He made his buddies get on the on their knee. What?
Completely different color than me, but we're kindred souls because we're fighting for the right cause. We're fighting on the right side. It ain't got a thing to do with our DD-214s. None of that. Has a thing to do with what's going on.
Can you have physical abuse without mental abuse? Probably not. Right? Just the act of somebody putting hands on you probably causes mental abuse as well, right?
It's resetting the world. All right. He rode 3 hours on the subway. Didn't even get to hear a speech. Got there late, but we were dispersing, packing up, loading up, about to head out. This guy has 200 followers on his account. He should have 1 million. I told him, I said, I'm going to share your page with all of my followers. He said, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. He said, if God wants me to blow up like you did, he'll let me. But I want it to be
the old God social media strategy. Got it.
Is a real patriot. That is a real soldier. That is a real human. That is real integrity. And again, sure, I could just casually drop it, but I know that he really means that sincerely. All right. So when you look at things like that, and then you flip over and you look at all these guys who claim to be intel, claim to be insiders, never been in the military, never been in government, never been in law enforcement, and they're all in their late 40s, 50s, or 60s. And then, so there's that. Then I have guys who want to fight me because they don't know what's going on. They have no clue what's in laws and orders, and they do have the intel. They do have the background for it. No wonder people are confused. So see, you got two sets here. These people could actually be doing good for society and humanity, and they want to fight me, who never claimed to have a long DD-214, never claimed to have an extensive resume, never claimed to have anything like that. Then you have this group here who have criminal backgrounds, most of them.
The problem is, like, his followers are like, you can't do that to Derek. He's retired from the military. He knows what's going on more than you do. And I'm like, no, no fucking way. We can put our service records up against each other. That's fine.
Of their own, not criminal on their resume. Oh, their resume, all right. But they claim to be military intel. And we have one dude out there, right? One person, hundreds of thousands of followers, claim to be military intel, never been in the military whatsoever. But when someone like me calls it out, oh, their followers get all mad. And I'm like, you cannot want the swamp drained out and follow swamp larvae, swamp residue, swamp algae that can grow right back up. The whole
algae. The algae is the worst part.
So remember your oath. Keep your oath. All right, and you might want to go back and study the oath. The word foreign was added to our oath with Abraham Lincoln. It didn't mean going to Iraq. It didn't mean going to Afghanistan. It didn't mean going to Syria, Kosovo, Bosnia, Somalia, Beirut, everywhere we've been. A lot of the places, Panama, etc. The word foreign was added to protect us from foreign people invading us. So see, a little word like that has been misconstrued and butchered and twisted. And then we have Americans out there. We have some Americans still who think the same way. The Americans think if you didn't go to Iraq or Afghanistan, then you can't know anything about military. I mean, that's sad. That is very sad. That means everybody walking around who served in the military, who never been anywhere, then they're strip them of being a veteran. How about that? Let's just strip everybody of being veterans. So only combat veterans are
Get 'em.
veterans. You go
There you go.
a little tiny group of people. Then here's what you apply to that. Say, all right, all you combat veterans who have multiple tours, all right, all of you with your multiple DD-214s and all your badges and all, run the country.
Okay.
Because that's what they're saying when they say that. And
If we need to, I got you.
they don't even know that their own Title 10 they served under has been invoked by President Trump.
Why is this raised bed garden
By the way, you know how he just went on a big rant about how he's not Intel?
struggling
He doesn't do Intel.
here?
He's not an Intel guy. Nobody should be claiming Intel. This is all just laws and orders and anybody can read it. If you go to his website, can someone tell me what happens when you sign up for his newsletter? Sign up now for Intel. Receive Intel updates direct from Derek Johnson. Put in your email address, subscribe. Or you can click, no thanks, I don't want Intel. I thought he didn't do Intel. That seems weird. He doesn't do Intel, but just in the pop-up, it says Intel 3 times.
So they don't even know the very laws and orders of what they served under. That don't even make sense at all. So what they're doing is saying that your knowledge ends wherever your opportunities ceased. And why would war be an opportunity? Like, that's what they got to paint the picture of. Explain why war is an opportunity. Please explain why war is an opportunity. That's what we need to know. Like, so when you justify war, then you're also justifying the incompetent heads who put us.
All right, here's his outline. Let me read this right quick for people that don't know, then I got to go. So here's his quick outline by Derek Johnson. The Law of War Manual is the Department of Defense War Manual. It was signed on June 12, 2015. It's a combination of military and federal lawyers who took the Lieber Code of 1863, Geneva Conventions, Hague Conventions, Nuremberg trials, the Law of War Manuals from the United Kingdom, Canada, Germany, and Australia, and all the strengths of those to strengthen the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which is military law. DJT 2016 candidacy announcement. What are the odds of riding down an escalator 4 days after the Law of War Manual was signed? Military Justice Act of 2016 was the Supreme Court clarifying military laws and courts are separate from civil laws and courts. It clarifies military personnel are different from civil. Federal Continuity Directive 1, signed January 17, 2017, 3 days before DJT took office. Look in the appendix. It talks about devolution and reconstitution. DJT didn't sign or pass this. Federal Continuity Directive 2, the implementation of COG, and so much more. Now apply the timelines. Law of War Manual, June 12, 2015, updated December 2016. Donald John Trump rolls down the escalator, June 16, 2015, to announce the candidacy in 2016. Military Justice Act of 2016. The Supreme Court clarifying military laws and courts are separate from civil laws and courts. Military personnel are different from civil. Federal Continuity Directive 1, January 17, 2017. Executive Order 13818, Human Rights Abuse, 2017 with national emergency. Abraham Accords, 2017. Steps in front of Queen, 2017. Walks into North Korea, 2017. Crown King of Saudi Arabia in 2017. Declares Jerusalem capital of Israel, 2017. Executive Order 13848, national emergency number 2. National emergency, 2 months before any election from 2017 to 2021, 2 years before the presidential election of 2020, meaning the only evidence of fraud was 2016 and prior. Executive Order 13848 specifically says no evidence of foreign power altering the outcome or voter tabulation in any United States election. Executive Order 13848 equals domestic, equals Washington establishment, equals deep state, equals cabal, equals the swamp. From 2017 to March 2020, DJT declared 9 national emergencies, 7 in executive orders. All were unaddressed by Congress, equals military operation, equals continuity of government, equals destroying federal corporation. Space Force was established December 20th, 2019. Executive Order 13912, March 27, 2020, was DJT federalizing the National Guard and reserves active duty because of those unaddressed national emergencies. Biden, in quotes, has extended every single executive order with national emergencies and the 13912 that federalized the National Guard and reserves to active duty. Every executive order has expiration dates. Why did he extend policies that do not align with his? EO 13912 didn't set to expire until March 2022, why did he extend it in 2021? LOL, extending it in 2022 now makes the National Guard and Reserves on active duty till March 2024. The Space Force has never been uttered from Biden's mouth. All this is a lie, by the way. Biden has said the Space Force like 37 times. Just an eclipse that Jordan Sather had. The Space Force articles have never been mentioned by Joe Biden. The Army transferred all communications to Space Force in August 2022 for one command. Who's that commander if Joe has never been mentioned by the Space Force? Who established the Space Force as an independent military branch in 2019? Number 45. The Air Force did not give Biden the traditional ride into D.C. on January 2021. Guess who the Space Force is a department of? The Flyboys. There's multiple documented pictures on the Fly app of the Coast Guard on Navy bases and naval helicopters on Coast Guard stations. Equals Coast Guard is Department of Homeland Security during peacetime. They operate under the Navy during times of war. The Marines are the Department of the Navy. That makes all military branches operating under military operation continuity of government, none of which recognize Biden as the commander-in-chief. In every single National Guard article, Biden has not been mentioned. This is also a lie. A very bad, very poor lie. Only the Secretary of Defense and or the commanders of the brigade, battalion, or unit. Biden campaigned that he was going to shut down Gitmo. Why has he not revoked Executive Order 13823, which DJT's EO that revoked Obama's EO to shut it down? If he was president, he would have the same powers and authority as every president. November 15, 2022, speech by DJT full of comms and codes. The pause. We're going to what I call the pause. Pause equals public alert, unregistered soliciting entities. So it's an acronym. Pause equals public alert, unregistered soliciting entities. And then we get this website. Well, now let me highlight it. Public alert, unregistered soliciting entities. That's what the pause means. The pause program lists entities that falsely claim to be registered, licensed, and or located in the United States in their solicitation of investors. The pause program also lists entities that impersonate genuine U.S. registered security firms, as well as fictitious regulators, government agencies, or international organizations. Really has nothing to do with what he's talking about, but whatever. Sorry, I have to go back to where I was. I gave Angela Merkel white flag of surrender equals Law of War Manuals Chapter 12.4. If he's civilian and former president, when did she take the Nord Stream 2 deal? July 2021 equals gave her white flag of surrender equals July 2021. Nancy Pelosi has been fired. She's on her way to another country right now equals Gitmo equals military tribunals. If governors don't want our help, we will insist equals martial law equals National Guard. We're going to eliminate MS-13 gangs, street crimes by 75 to 85%. This equals martial law equals National Guard. I asked President Xi what they do for drug problems equals we don't have problems. We have quick trial equals trial in the morning equals execution by the end of the day equals military tribunal. We are going to seek execution for drug traffickers equals quick trial equals military tribunals. Pretty soon, we're going to put our beautiful flag on the surface of Mars equals military auxiliary radio system equals emergency communications equals emergency broadcast system. I didn't need this. I had a very nice life. You didn't need this, but we love our country, don't we? Equals proving continuity of government. DJT is the commander-in-chief and the face of the military operation. He was too a cog, but he's the good side of cog. It will all be revealed. The blueprint and time stamp prove military operation from the start. This is a schizophrenic motherfucker. All one has to do is take the order of those read and apply. We have it all. We caught them all. All crimes and evidence of will be displayed to the public in full accordance to the law by Derek Johnson. Should I include my birthday and social security number too? Is that what it takes these days in the pod thief world? I don't know what that rant at the bottom is, but there you go. So again, it's more this stupid QAnon. We have it all. We caught them all. All crimes will be revealed. Emergency broadcast, 10 days of darkness. It's a continuity of government devolution. Stupid shit, dude. Stupid shit. But they can weave together this crazy map that aligns all the points and points back to Donald Trump. It's wild. All right. Thank you guys for going Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Derek Johnson's a fucking loser who is not a combat veteran. And I'm just waiting for him to get a nice young boyfriend so I can prove to him I can fuck his man. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. You guys have a good night. Support the show while we're offline by going to coldbeer.fund, where you can help support the show either financially or by following, liking, sharing something. We need more viewers. That's partially my fault. I should have stayed a MAGA grifter, I guess. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Love you. See you. Bye. Have a good night. Check out coldbeer.fund.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better
Happy Mother's Day again to the mothers out there.
and they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped
I miss my mom.
in a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worship
Support the show so we can pay the bills if you want to.
he hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit.
Have a good night, guys.
It's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better